What is up? And happy Friday to all of you. It's almost time for the weekend to be. Yo, Nightbot, chill. What the hell? That's so much spam, Nightbot. Naughty Nightbot. Are you all ready for a banger of a Friday, by the way? Because you know it's time. That's right. What is up, one and all? And happy Friday. Courtesy of the HIMS Cup. That's right. We are back for this absolute banger of an event. Dude, I've been having fun with this. Each week we've introduced new maps. Now this week we decided to kind of slow things down a bit. We wanted to let Caillou out of the salt mine for a day or two to breathe as we prep for our transition to the next month awareness for a different product. But for our final Hair Loss Focus HIMS Cup, we got B and Anotand on the line and we drafted a hair follicle, I think that's the word I'd use, map pool. Yeah, so we tried to keep a balding theme here, to put it simply, and you guys will see as we come through. So we have got the new maps Receding Alopecia appearing. We're going to have Baldland in there as well. Also, Atacama, Dry Arabia, Hideout, Highwoods, Mountain Clearing, Pigeon's View, Prairie. Basically, we went with any map that looks like it's got no hair, or patchwork hair, or what looks like a weird kind of like bald spot. So, you know, like at this point, I'm just kind of like a, I guess it's kind of like the ink splot test with a psychiatrist is what we've kind of created here. But yeah, should be a fun one. So the boys are just getting ready to draft now. Let me load everything in so we'll have the picks automatically getting added in as we go. KB, can you be my dad? How hot's your mom on a scale of 1 to 10? What is that like? Is that unreasonable to ask? I mean, it's just a question, you know. Okay, so Hideout and Atacama actually got banned out. I'm surprised Mountain Clearing got left in by these guys. By the way, actually, we do have like a return of an older map, which is a new map because it has been updated. So I guess we do have a new map this week, which is going to be Wolf Hill. So Wolf Hill was going to be making an appearance. That was a map created by Caillou a long time ago. I messaged him about updating it and changing it. He was like, yep, I'm there, brother. Let's go for it. Opening map. Oh, man, that's poetic. It's going to be Pigeon's View between these two. So we remember this is a best of 9, first to 5. But we will have this best of 5 draft, and then after game 4, they'll redraft again. And there we go. Load that in. BO9. Oh, yes, 40. A best of 9 between the lads. What do you mean, whoa, whoa? Like, dude, you asked me, and... the commitment to the name as well. So wait. So like, what was your original name? Because you've clearly changed your name, considering that account was created in 2017. Sus, I think. Oh, wait, that's you, Yakima. Okay. Wait, don't they have like a limit on how often you can change your name? I thought they lock your name for like X months after you change it. You're committed to it. Wow. Okay, yeah, I mean, I guess if I ever stop creating content, you just have to find another KP, right? Oh, you can do it bi-weekly? Really? Huh. That's surprising. But, like, he just said he's committed to it. So, like, legitimately now, if he doesn't commit to it forever, we have to, like, ban him, I guess? I don't know. Every 60 days. That kind of makes sense. Otherwise, it'd get really spammy. Just gonna get some of my Red Bull. I still, to this day, can't believe my mum gave up the name Mum69 on Twitch without making someone buy it off of her. Legit. Like, that's before she switched over to Pigeon's mum, her name on Twitch was Mum69. Is that 3dB? No, it's 4dB. Mate, maybe? I don't know. Yes, it's 3dB. But, like, here's the thing. If I put the full names in, are you ready? Oh, God. Why is it so weird with that? If we put the full names in, it gets a bit cluttered. Which is why they can suck it up. Oh my god, dude. Typing today is weird, my brain. Also, Cal has set up his inputs for names really weird. If you try to edit them after you've made an entry, it like starts deleting at a weird point in the word. Wait, Fatlop's watching sort of? I mean, that's just rude, man. Other content creators from my mods? Pfft, fireable offense from what I've heard. We might look to cover one or two of the KPMM games today as well, by the way, guys. So we'll see how it goes. But we'll be starting off with obviously this best of 9. If this ends up being like a full 9-game set and we're like 4 hours plus, maybe we're just like vibing at that point. But if it's shorter, I think there'll definitely be time to slide in some of the KPMM games. I'm like just mocking Canada's money right now in DMs to one of my friends. Because like we were talking about a deal for one of the creators. And they're like, is that in USD or Canadian dollars? And I had to resist the temptation to just immediately say, no, we use real currency around here. Wait, why did Please Be My Dad KP get timed out? Choom, chill. What did you do? I didn't see anything wrong. Like, bruh. Poor guy. Comes in looking for a father figure. And Choom does the thing that causes all the daddy issues. Ignores him. Puts him in the corner. Alright, so, boys have got the full roster complete. Anotand got Ottomans and Byzantines against B. That's kind of surprising. You see the priors like China, Malians. It's quite intriguing, actually, the way Anotand opened the draft. Like, these two love Ottomans. Who's looking for a father figure? Whoa, okay, that was a little bit too eager, Kit, Joe. I'll be your daddy. Yeesh. Well, you know what? If you want to be someone's daddy, if you actually want to be the role model, you need to make sure that you've got the most magnificent set of hair. And for some people, that's not possible. Like, you see those little icons up there? Some of them just ain't doing it. Like, this one over here in particular, oof, receding. Man, that guy looks like a potato head. If he could only just massage the follicles to come back to life, to rejuvenate his hair. Maybe, just maybe, there is a product out there that could do that. Chat, can you help me figure out what that product is? Could it exist somewhere on the screen right now? Could it possibly be the wonderful people at HIMS that are sponsoring these show matches that provide hair loss solutions and easy access to those services? That's right. They have an easy to fill out form, a survey. If you are worried about your hair and you miss the golden days when you felt like an 80s movie action star, perhaps they can help bring those days about again. I'm not going to say your wife will love your hair more, but if you've ever tried just running your fingers for a bald scalp and then running them through long hair, I think it says everything it needs to itself. So yeah, big shout out to the HIMS boys for coming in and sponsoring. They will be with us throughout all of May and all of June as well. So going to be busy with these every Friday. Don't understand Japan being banned by B? Yeah, so like you ban it away from your opponent is the idea. So Anotand has cast that ban on his opponent. Right? That's the idea. Just like God banned some of you from regrowing your hair. But we're here to break that. Voldemar's just taking the notes like, ooh, damn. Like, Voldemar, like, we've been over this, man. You just got to get on camera and just, like, flick the hair away. It's like, because I'm worth it. All right. So, G1, what are the boys doing? Because we're going to Pigeon's View. With this type of draft, it would make a lot of sense to do what? Malians versus probably Byzantines? You could do Malians House of Lancaster, actually. I kind of like Lancaster a little bit more. Eva could work quite well against Malians, though. Let's have a look. B picks the Abbasids, and he uses the Abbasids in game one. Dude, like, B is on one right now. With the excavation rotation in the weeklies, he just apparently, he got the Abbasid bug, and he's hooked on them. And yo, what is up? I'm hooked on those subs, those sweet, sweet subs coming in. What's up, Shmooly? Appreciate you schmoozing on in and providing the good stuff. Welcome to this one. Okay, so let me have a look here. Yeah, so Byzantines versus Abba. This is a matchup you don't really see often. Then again, you can say that of like practically any Abbasid pick at the moment. By the way, guys, do you know what I have? What's that? Sorry, just timing the boys behind the scenes. Right? I have a mockery of ye who cannot regrow your hair. Okay, check this out. Hello. Yeah, that's right. He's got the good hair ahead of him. But some of us don't. If only there was a product, a pill, something that can maybe get that hair back. You don't need it, do you, buddy? No. But genetics is cursed. We can't all have it. Exclamation mark, HIMS. They might be able to solve it. I'm not going to promise anything. It might be worth checking out. Because I am aware that we are a group of aging gamers. I literally just aged again yesterday. 32. I know. Bald spots should be coming through, but somehow I've dodged it. A lot of people can't. You will, though. My sire, my heir. Look at that smile. He loves it. Who's daddy's best stream prop? Is it you? Is it you? Yeah. It's him. Sorry, the microphone's kind of in the way, isn't it, bud? You daddy's best stream prop? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Woo. All right, I'll put him down. We're 2 minutes out from in-game. It's a good day. It's a damn good day. All right, so I guess we'll get Bradickies going as well. Oh, I know what I forgot to do. There's probably some people that haven't turned up because I totally forgot to, like, post out. It's show match time. Don't go bald wing. Boom. And I need to do the @ here. I knew I forgot to do something. There we go. That will summon the Bannerman. Oh, and we didn't pay out the predictions, so Louis MT yesterday. Today, G1. Anotand versus B. So I thought about having Louis back. I didn't bother asking this time because I honestly wanted him to be able to focus on the weekend, considering it's the finals weekend. So, like, we decided to actually hop into different people instead. So we've got B versus Anotand. Anna making his first appearance in the HIMS Cup. B making his second. And the first map is going to be Pigeon's View. You alright, buddy? Yeah? Bless him. He just got back from being out with his nan. But I'm keeping on the communications, by the way. I reckon I needed to double check, but I think I did see 1 or 2 interesting KPMM round of 32. So there might be some stuff to cook with today. But we'll see how it goes. Honestly, like, I've kind of just accepted that for the most KPMM, I don't want to say it gets ignored on Fridays, but like is limited exposure on it, just because obviously people, not many schedule on the Friday per se. What's up, Ez? Don't start getting cranky. You get. Do I need to put you in your chair instead? Ugh. One sec. I think he wants to be in a more comfortable chair. Whoops, wrong scene. All right, game is ball. We're good to go. One and all, it's time for a matchup that always feels like a circus in the best of ways. It's a clownery, it's a fun time. Honestly, you wouldn't even think they're competing. They're too busy enjoying themselves when they're playing. We've got B versus Anotand in a best of 9 for HIMS Cup number 3. That's right, of course, HIMS Cup returning again for the third time. We've got quite a few editions, actually. We're going to have like 10 to 12 editions in total. So we're keeping pretty damn busy with these on this channel. Really big shout out to them for getting involved with the channel. And I'm kind of curious about this one because we got something a little bit weird but wonderful from B. You are seeing that correctly, folks. He has picked the Abbasids. This is becoming a bit of a frequent occurrence for him at the moment, actually, because he was doing this in the midweek muster. Curious to see how it's going to do up against Anotand on the Byzantines, though. Byzantines definitely a respectable force here, and I do not know what just happened with... Yes, I did just see that logo. What the hell was that logo? What? The background was a little bit missing on that, so I might have to quickly fix that. Well, I did have extra logos, if I can find them. I know where it is. So yeah, if you guys aren't aware, HIMS are basically been sponsoring us now for the 3rd week. They're going to be with us for a while. Really cool company if you are in the needs of certain assisters in life as a man, whether it may be hair related or uppity related. And we'll talk more about those in the coming weeks. But this matchup, I'm kind of curious how he wants to approach it. It looks like Anotand is going to be one of those double stone boys for the system rush. So he's looking to slow this down, go aggressive at all. He's all in on the greed. Now that's interesting. B on the other side is going to look to go all in on the aggression. It's going to be military wing beginning. Still remember the season 8 to 9 pup games them? Oh yes, that's where it really began. Where these two really just managed to provide, I think, peak entertainment. Like, I lost my mind with those games. That was with the Farimba changes, if I remember correctly. And they were discovering some pretty interesting things around javelin throwers at the time. Like, B was actually, I think, the first person to realize javeliniers had some funky mechanics to them. And we might actually see this Marlin coming out, by the way. I thought B would pick it here because he did draft it early. In fact, for those wondering what the draft was, wrong scene, but that'll work. Look, boom, boom, boom. So yeah, Marlians and Chinese are high priority for him in the opening. It is maybe a little bit surprising. Like, Shushi is kind of fallen off a little bit. I think some players highly covet the Marlians, by the way, to the point that they might even consider them a first pick. I wonder what you can do with this spawn as well. It's front goal berry, so technically B should be able to aggro quite well. And the thing I think that B's trying to do here with this military wing opening is logically against military wing opening, you want to begin archers, don't you? It feels bad to begin archers with Byzantines because that's the mercenary you're going to go for, right? So like if you can delay having to push into that choice, you feel good. But that's why the Spear Archer beginning can be so frustrating for Mabasets. Will I cast the LAN qualifiers? I'll have to have a look at when they're happening, but quite possible. I'd look to cast them on this channel, yeah. Whether I'll be involved in the LAN, I don't know, but like we could at least look to do the qualifiers here. Okay, so it's going to be 2TC. I think that makes a lot of sense. You know you're going to be running into an opponent who's going to have a scaling economy with assistance. This is all just about trying to delay Anno's timing. So what B wants to do, by forcing those archers and slowing down his timing of the mercenaries, is allow himself to get a really good TC up on his side of the map. They'll start on Monday? Yeah, but they're like weird though, right? Because it's like only the very early rounds with the stompy matchups, and then all the good matchups should be happening on the weekends. Definitely a bit of a different format. Ooh, and check this timing. Archers already arrive. Anotand is going to pull more villagers, but this is getting a little bit awkward on the time. It looks like it should be able to go up. Yeah, not able to get any kills. So B got to be a little bit frustrated by that. He did bring a villager. Okay, great reaction from Anotand. So this is now pretty tricky, actually, for B. He can at least lame the deer, so that can't be shoved in, but this villager is now just kind of wasted. Or not? Okay. Arrow slits, maths on this. Oh god, why do I have to math? 16 seconds is pretty fast to the system. That's a smart read. He switched to Dialecticus. That actually might be the difference. Yeah, especially with the garrison nearby. So this is not going to go up. And the timing, it will be a kill on the villager. Maybe. Yep, gets the final shot. Beautifully done there by B. By Anotand, rather. So I've got a baby yelling at me. What's wrong, Ezra? Oh, good. This is going to be the situation where he hasn't been fed again. And she's gone out. So now I have to balance the baby while casting. Let the fun begin. Dadding on a Friday, baby. Dadding every day. But who's going to be the daddy in this one? So B probably just going to hunker down for fast castle with this type of build. Anotand is going into the archers, so he gets forced into it. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he'd actually be okay with this, but maybe this is Anotand's idea of an all-in timing, as if he plays into archers and then maybe follows up with lombos. He can just send it into B's base before he can tech. Feels a bit ambitious. What would be the counterplay for B? He could probably still rush the age and then maybe look for someone like Guillem's. Food count is reasonably good for him. Yeah, he's got 18 sheep to work with, so he isn't exhausting himself anytime too soon. And the Golden Age is definitely going to accelerate him quite nicely. I like that he's shoving the deer. This is smart. This is another beautiful thing. Guys, in the current meta, when you see free units, you can't just think about them for what they do on the map to the enemy. You have to think about what they do to the true enemy, wildlife. That's right. Mankind's got to get rid of all of it. Oh, wait, what? Anno, no. I mean, he's got a scout. That was a scout, so he would have seen them early on. That's crazy. I can't believe he just walked in and died like that. Okay, so now he's played archers and he's got no vision, which is really bad. And it looks like it is going to be a Merc House on the neutral trade post. I am fighting with my son right now as he tries to eat the wire to my headset. You cheeky git. You cheeky git. Are you a cheeky git? You cheeky git. Wow, look, you got all that hair. You don't even need the product. Okay, and this is going to be for Sipahi timing. So I guess he is going kind of all in. No. Look at it. It's castle. So he's just trying to buy some time with Sipahi raids. It's going to be a mirrored play from B. The Sipahi will get counted out by... Well, there's no military wing. Presumably B's probably looking at, I'd say, culture wing this early in the game. Like, look at the economy. He has 0 ecotechs, which is usually indicative of culture wing value. Oh, buddy. All right, 1s if you think B's going to win this game. 2s if you think Anotand is. Wait, he goes eco? With 0 ecotechs, he goes eco-wing. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised. I thought he had good food. Maybe the thought here is that Anotand's going to try to all-in him, and when it fails, he can then just go for trip TC over 2. The other thought is actually on this map, you have to remember on high view, pigeon view, there's a lot of risk going out to the flank foods. So if you play into farms early on, you don't have to deal with that risk. And obviously you're up against an opponent who can do that. Byzantines are great at doing that in particular. Our boy's going to grow up to be a caster. Oof. I hope for his sake, no. You know how horrible it is to try and make a living in this industry? Like, oof. I'll tell you, like, casting is great when you're on top. When you're not, yeesh. It's a survival game. Now the cheeky little git is trying to steal my Red Bull as well. The things you guys can't see. Okay, so it's going to be... Wow, Texel as well. He really is worried he's going to get dove here. There isn't really a clear dive point, though, right? Like, Sapai could go underneath the TCE, but Undermesh isn't even there, so I don't think Anotand wants to go in necessarily. He just wants to make sure I know that B rather can't come out for things like relics in a rush. Ooh, and I don't think B saw this either. No, he hasn't got eyeballs on, so he's wasting resources in the camel archers that will end up counted by Sapahi. Debuff is at least nice if you have a front line alongside them, so it deters your opponent. It also just gives you an insurance policy in case your opponent was going for like a mass immediate Varangian spam. On the other side, we do have Anotand up to level 4 Sistan, so he's somewhat competing, but not entirely. Like, he's only 7% ahead on, like, Roiko gathering. And we do already have Fertile Crescent on the way. Yeah, so it looks like B is just straight up going into farms. Well, if he goes for Camel Comp, then he'll lose the game, right? Like, Camel Comp against Sapai is kind of crazy. And we do have Cataphracts, so there's definitely value in having some Camel presence. Okay, this is the Camel Comp I'm fine with. Camel Riders, but like Camel Archers, no. I think Camel Archers just aren't worth the investment here. Camel Riders make a hell of a lot of sense. Anotand is fully countered by them. And we do have Anno now rushing for relics as well. He needs them. Already has one on the way home. Sapahi are going to get the dive in, and you just see how much of a counter they are to the Camel Archers. Cataphract hangs around, gets a great trade into the Lancer. Yeah, this is a bit ambitious, B. I think he rushed out before he was ready because he was worried about relic game. And now he has to be more worried because, guys, if you were struggling with Sapahi a little now, what happens when he gets these extra relics home? Another scary thought here is so far, Anotand has not committed to a contract. That's why he's able to keep scaling Sapahi so quickly, because the Golden Horn Tower will go into them. But if he feels threatened by Camel Riders, he can always mirror them. And with 3 relics in the Grand Winery, he can afford the pacing for that. Does see the camels now. Hasn't actually appropriately reacted just yet. This is a bit wasteful. I think the problem, if I'm not mistaken, is Anno, yeah, lacks vision. So he just kind of clicked in this spot and then not really, I think, registered just how good the camel should be. That being said, the numbers are in his favor. It's working out. Yeah, the Cataphracts are just absorbing all the blows. Now, both of them do have monks, so they can top off the health bars down the line. What's wrong, guys? What? You grabbed my microphone. And an arbitrary switch. Wait, what? Oh, no, that's random. Right? No. He's actively building arbitrary. Which is surprising. Yes, he saw Lancers, but because he keeps revealing cavalry, we can see B is just all in on Camel Riders. This is sick. Remember, Camel Riders actually have a lot of intimate value. And by intimate, I mean it's closely guarded secrets, right? Like the melee armor +3 is a really big deal in these melee mosh pits. Then there's camel handling, so you move as quick as horsemen. Like, I swear, Camel Riders are still to this day a slept-on unit. Everyone always thinks Camel Archers, but Camel Riders to me are the low-key silent kings of Abbassids. Double outpost going up on the big berries, so B definitely enough food to work with, and we should be seeing farms gradually added in here because camels spamming them long term, it's not enough to just have these one-off resources. But so far, yeah, it kind of feels weird that he went Fertile Crescent and hasn't really leveraged it into anything but building houses. Camel handling is now on the way, which means Sipahi will not be able to run away from you. And the final 2 relics will be going the way of B. Okay, so we have our divide. And 2 TC now from Anotand. Okay, so this isn't a bad timing to do this. He got 3 relics. He's got the 26% eco buff compared to the 15 for Bastards. And then on top of that, remember, he has got olive oil. So, like, economically, while he's a little bit behind, the gap isn't as huge as you think here. Might even be better for Anotand. Yeah, actually catches another of the relic grabbers. And does have the monk nearby. Now, he can't pick up the relic to force a retreat off a warlord because remember, it did complete. So it is on cooldown. The camels. I mean, the arbitrary just aren't a solution to this. They're great against the lancers, but for the camels specifically, a little bit worthless. I've got my lads coming over. It's kind of crazy because, I mean, B's trading really well 1-to-1. And by really well, I mean insanely well. This is going from a 1-to-2 trade to almost like a 1-to-3 trade. These camels are carrying everything. What did we say about these things? I'm telling you, camel riders. They're unsung kings. Now, in fairness, Anotand, sure, you could say he built a lot of cavalry, but even the arbitrary just aren't really putting a dent in these camels at this stage. It's awkward to play sometimes. You have to remember, camels aren't exactly cheap. They do cost you 220 resources. On top of that, they are flimsy on their damage compared to lancers. They attack a little bit quicker, but they attack for notably less, about 10 less on a sword strike. That's why people always go lancers instead. Meanwhile, ooh, we have camel dives. He should be find a hold here, though. The problem is Anotand needs to somehow find a way to start attacking the other way, because we know that B has been scaling quite well. I think the only reason Anotand might want to move with urgency is for all he knows it could be free TC now from Abba, after they've seen the secondary. You do have Spearman now coming out. So Anotand finally would answer to these units. And you'd think at this stage, BC Spears, he'd switch, right? Like the sane man would change off of Camel. No. He's actually scaling past 20 now. Am I a pigeon? Yeah, like baby pigeons just sound like this. You know, they don't know how to car yet. They learn that when they're like 5. You tell them, boy. Okay, we do have the undermesh on the way. There's not too much range comp right now. I think Anotand just has kind of a raw number issue at this point. Not many olive groves to speak of. Hasn't got great map control. He has bigger food issues, which is why it's good he's not trying to contest cavalry anymore. I feel like that initial wave of Cataphract burnt him out. Yeah, maybe if he'd just gone straight into Spearman, his own crossbow sooner, he'd look a little bit more stable here. But I think for Anotand, he understood that if he didn't get a decent amount of the relics, the game was going to feel kind of curtains for him anyway. It is so awkward running these arbitrary from the other side of the map, though. Camels. Yeah, I'm going to try to brute force it. I mean, the free melee armor, he feels pretty confident about this. The Limitane, they aren't upgraded. I know, he's not rushing it. No, he has level 5 available, but he's not rushing the veterancy. So Spearmen are getting wiped. Villagers are now on the front line. And B is looking to plow on through. He's got archers to follow this up as well. So while you have no Limitane, when the new ones come out, he's already going to have the counterplay here. And remember, guys, these aren't just any archers. These are potentially composite bow archers of the Abbasids. The melee attrition is starting to add in a little here, where when you keep fighting, obviously the health bars are going to get low. You start to deplete your front line, but it's still enough. The mango emplacements probably make B think twice about too heavy of a dive. Then again, there isn't one ready on the tree line. So you can just keep plowing on through. And the eco is beginning to look ugly. What's making it worse still is these arbitrary that keep getting produced from the neutral trade post. They take so long to arrive and always end up running into the enemy with this type of pacing. Yeah, so just easy cleanups. And also a reminder, this is not Imperial Age. You don't have the Gamson tech for free on the Byzantines. So not exactly tanky either. And in a weird way, like the camels, like we said, because the arbitraries don't get bonus damage against them, although the camels don't get bonus damage in return, like you are a very tanky cavalry unit that is not getting shredded by this range comp. It's tricky, Fano. Like realistically, your only logical answer is Spearman against this. And Spearman can get quite easily kited, so you have to kind of like look more and more at this Camel Rider as a little bit of a pseudo raider if need be. But the crazy thing is how impressively B's just used it for an all-in A clicker. Abba's actually great. Abba's got some potency about it. The problem is, like, they've always been controversial for a long time, I think, because when they come around, the relevance is usually based off of camels. You know, it's kind of like having these elephants as well. Like, elephants for Delhi right now is a huge controversial point. It's like, these are the type of units that are very unique, but often end up being either completely overtuned or undertuned. Doesn't often feel like there's an in-between. Wait, is he going camel archers? Alright, I'm a little bit... Actually, I guess it makes sense in some ways. So camel archers, remember, get bonus damage against Limitane. But the thing is, you're in castle now. Surely archers is better because of the cost efficiency and also composite bows. So yeah, a little bit surprised by that. Don't know if it's a misclick because he hasn't actually queued any up yet. The dive now coming into the base. B with a substantial military lead. Looking to press it. And Anotand just doesn't really have much behind this. I mean, we've got double Sacred Sight for B. He's got farm transition coming in soon, surely, yeah, on the second TC. And now, Anotand being idled out on half of his farms. Yeah, B's going to back off temporarily, but only to prep the mangonels. Choose to eye big games. I forgot that these guys existed. The other teardrop shields coming in. So Anotand will have the ability to gap close a little bit quicker here. But there's my biggest fear. It's happening. Composite bows is now on the way. This is a big deal, remember. It's the 33% increased attack speed. Turns these things into Gatling guns. Does Anno still have the same issue? Yeah, he's still producing it. He's kind of lucky there was never an outpost set up there just to block it. Mango's going to start knocking at the door. Mango Tower is there to protect, but not fortified, so could become the target. I have to be a little bit careful, because remember, the Mango Tower will be able to reach your Mango attacking it. So usually it's just a bit better to torch in to kill. But B's shown respect. He's going to set up more siege. The reason he's not rushing is because we've seen plenty of games that have just outrageously pivoted because of Mango now on placements. Even after the nerfs. He doesn't want to risk it. Smart to also take out the cistern. Could cut the level of production, but on top of that, I think something we haven't really seen at the highest level is usage of Praesidium in these situations. Nice to know on the marketplace. He understands Anotand is in trouble. Look at the gold. He's only got one over in the corner, and he's not even running over to it. So if he felt like he needed more gold-based units, like, say, Varangian, which could make sense as kind of a meaty front line, wouldn't be on the menu at all. Now the third Mango. B is in full comfort mode right now. In his eyes, Anotand is the one who has to make a move, and it's understandable. You got Sacred Sight, you're basically getting ready to go Imperial. What does Anotand really have by comparison? Yeah, it's like he can fortify towers and try to survive here, but I'm just not really seeing the way. He's got one punch at this, and it's truly an uphill battle. And the farms, man. This is so tilting with these olive groves. Higher economy, and you just can't even defend it. Outpost shenanigans gonna get shut down. Not that it really matters. What matters is this fight right here. Now, what is interesting to me is the fact that B hasn't started building Springolds, by the way. Springolds will make this so easy to win. Because the Mango is going to be less effective against Limitane, actually. Really? I've got a grumpy baby. Ezra's like, but I don't understand. I was told that Abbasids suck. I could have had so much elo. Is that Star Wars scene? We were deceived. And now he's going off the Grand Winery. Say bye-bye relics, Anotand. This is a dominant start from B, man. I mean, this is crazy. We have to remember B, he was one of the people responsible for really shining a torch back onto Ottoman to say, hey, this is a Civ. And now he's trying to do the same thing with the Abbasids. That's right, buddy. That's right. Culture Wing now on the way. While Anotand gets ready to try and make a valiant last stand, it feels like, he's going to have to deal with the fact that B is going to be a full age ahead. Awesome raids. Not finding too much damage so far. But that timer continues to tick. I mean, the fact that he has double Sacred Sight, he's sieging into the enemy base and going Imperial, all at the same time, is bonkers.
Now you're my shit.
And what is up, Matt500X? Thank you very much for the raid, mate. That's bonkers. Hope you had a good stream, buddy. You came into me organizing, hosting, casting, producing a tournament while also managing a baby. It's a crazy game, one for me too. Oh, and that's the bad news. I think Anotand just ran in the back like, why have you got so many farms? Why? How? How have the camels been this effective is the crazy of how in this situation. Nangos are trying to obliterate that back line. Counterfrac's going to try to charge through. B, wait a second. Why is he standing his ground right now? B? That's a full army wipe. Well, he is going to have the age up in 10 seconds. So Anno gets a stay of execution, but this is far from, oh my god, Anno is now going to take over the game. We have to remember, B just set all these farms up. They haven't started working just yet. But Anotand needs to constrict the map fast to stop that from happening. I can't believe that. Why did B stand still? Did he just believe in the camels a little bit too much? Has he been sampling his own product of camel hair? Because against that many Limitane, that's ballsy. Maybe he was worried that if he backed off, he would have been dove and then in more trouble. Anotand is going to go on the offensive. He has to. He's diving into reinforcements with limited troops here because he did split up to go over for the decap. Looks like the castle is going to end up going up at this rate. The Sipahi not good enough to take it out. And that's going to be clean. I can't believe Anotand is like, okay, to hell with it. I have to do something, but this is not going to be enough. Despite the fact that B just tossed away an entire army, it doesn't matter. Castle is up on both sacred sites. Army has swelled to match the count of Anotand again. Eco is neck and neck, but the technological difference is too big. The Golden Boys on horseback or camelback are going to prove too strong. All right, sorry, I have a very cranky baby. Oh. What's wrong? What's wrong? I think you're hungry. I think Mummy walked out at the worst time to pick up your sister. What a scammer. Okay, so next game we're going alopecia. Oh. Unless... Nope. No smell. So, alopecia for game number 2. It's going to be a win for the Abbasids. You okay? What? And we've got Chinese... Whoa. Chinese versus Japanese. The Japanese pick is a little bit surprising. Was he expecting someone like Malians here instead, maybe? China, Japan. How does that play out? That feels like you rarely see it. Buy him a fake mic so you can play? No, you buy him like a fake controller so you can play. Fake mic is so you can talk, man. Come on. Come on, Jet. You know how Microphones work. Yep, my brain did pause for a moment there trying to remember the word microphone. You having fun? Hopefully, Mummy's back in a sec. I do like your company, but you're also a pain in the ass to try and cast with. Look! No hands! There you go. Oh, I can do it properly now that it's not in the chair. Ready? It's even funner. Honestly, guys, when you get yourself a kid, it's the first thing you should do. Well, maybe not the moment they come out of the womb. That really freaks out the mum. Still with the umbilical cord attached. It gets really awkward. You okay? So, I'm going to put you in your chair. And you're not going to scream the house down, right? Right? Have you got, like, wind still? Because if you have, you're holding it really well. No, stop trying to steal my microphone. I know what you're trying to do. The problem with Ezra is he doesn't give burps up easily. It was a really big problem in the early days because he got, like, the really bad flu. Got to the point where he actually had to go into hospital for a few days because he couldn't breathe properly. Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. What are you doing? No, you're going to look at chat. What are you doing? I'm going to put you down. Here comes Mummy. It's about time, Mummy. Am I due food? Maybe. Oh, there it is. All right, Superman. Whee! Off you go. That kid's got Peter Pan magic tricks, man. All right, sorry about that, guys. But the baby has been returned to the mother. Not like, returned to the factory, but like just returned to the shop. And that means we can start honing in. I keep pressing the wrong bloody scene. All right, I can actually focus more on what we're doing here now that I've not got a baby screaming. It's not that I couldn't ignore him. Like, I'm used to having sounds in the background on big esports shows. It's just, you don't want to ignore him, you know? You don't want to be an abusive parent. Shocker. Are both of us at home caring for the baby? So Emma only works today for a few hours. She's the primary carer. I'm like... Brother, where to begin with the amount of hours I work per day? Whew. I barely slept anything last night because I was up until like 2 a.m. waiting on influencers to deliver videos for submission. Whew. All right. Let's get to it, though. Yeah, that's fine. One and all, it has returned. That's right, Alopecia back on your screens. If you missed this map, if you had a lot of fun watching Lucifer and Louis on it, wait until you see these two magicians. Be up against Anotand, and it's going to be Chinese versus Japanese. Now, this is exciting to me. Japan has been getting a lot of game time recently because of the deer shove meta. China is still stuck on the old pro scouting meta. So it looks like Anatand's goal here is to try and cripple B's win condition while also bolstering the weak point of Japan, which is normally they don't have enough food. And yes, this is Alopecia. We created some balding themed maps for HIMS Cup. So if you guys aren't familiar, we're working with HIMS Cup now, third week. And they will be with us for the next 2 months. And thanks to their sponsoring, we've been able to put on these show matches, and they'll be happening every Friday. My hopes is that the reception for the community is good. The links get clicked regularly. And then we maybe look to up the ante and get them to come in even more long term. Because these have been fun, man. Like, I do love doing midweek muster, but the thing about doing the HIMS Cup is because it's just a show match with a sponsor, I can just do whatever I want. You know, like I can invite who I want. I can make the format whoever I want. Right? Now, the reason that's important is obviously from the formatting standpoint. I can introduce new maps and it is however it is. I can do these different funky formats. I can use new game modes and it's just accepted as it is. Whereas when you do something like midweek muster, there's a very high desire for it to be competitively standardized, which is fine. But it's nice and refreshing to have this as an alternate to that each week. So, Anno does send one the spearman over to the enemy side. Smart idea here, considering that China likes to be greedy. They don't open Imperial Official, which means they can be caught in the gold a little bit longer. But one spear is usually not enough. And to make matters worse for Anotand, it was a retracted gold spawn behind B's TC, so it took him a very long time to get here. But hasn't really skipped a beat here. His 2 spearmen have been able to shove in the deer. He has got a third now joining. Likely what we'll see Anotand do is maybe move 1 spear out onto the flank here, and then the other 3 just focus on this one. Because if you move the spear on the flank here, what you could do actually is shove the deer into the stealth forest until the icon moves. And then B might not necessarily know exactly where the deer are at. After Alopecia, the next map will be Boldland? It could be. We've got Boldland and Receding also in the map pool. We came equipped, baby. I know. Unfortunately for his plans, they have been somewhat ruined. B, able to come through again and again. Yeah, there's only 4 diff left alive. This is getting a little bit worrisome. Anno has got the second deer pack, but guys, it is a tiny bit far away. Yeah, just a little bit. It's only, you know, it's a short distance. You know when someone tells you it doesn't take long for a TV show to get good, and then you're like 9 episodes in and it's still not good? Yeah, that's this deer pack. It's going to take a while if he goes for it. That means Anotand's play now is a bit redundant. It feels pretty bad. He did kill, like, what in the end? Did he kill 1, 2 sheep? Yeah, he got 2 of the sheep. And there's still 3 deer to... Wait. Goddamn trees. Okay, so there's only 2 deer. Yeah, overall, like, unless Anotand wants to go pro scouts, this is probably feeling quite underwhelming. And Japan doesn't really strike me as a civ that ever wants to go pro scouts. Let alone this slow, because remember, B's already aged up. He's going to be a mile ahead of you. And yes, sheep carcasses can be carried by the pro scouts, but it is substantially less valuable. Sheep's only 200 food, deer almost double at 350 with a better gathering rate. You'll never look to prioritize sheep over deer. And it's going to be Kura. This has become pretty standard. Whenever you go racks, there's just not much value in going for the Coca. The way I always refer to it is it's like if you opened with Hippodrome as Byzantines and then built 3 more stables. Like, why are we building the same building to get counted even harder? That's the issue. It's like, if you play Spearmen into Coca, you're saying, build archers, please. Now, you could argue that's like, haha, genius, because now you can go Horsemen as Japan and be ahead. But at that stage, you've made 3 unit transitions to get 1 counterplay, and your opponent's only made 1 unit transition. It's like, mathematically, you are still behind on the investment. Ooh. Anno? Okay, a little bit surprised by that. A kill that I wouldn't have expected to happen there, so nicely done. That's actually important, because if B was planning pro scouts, that slows down his timing, because he can't actively gather gold. He has to tax his way to it. He will eventually get there, because taxation is bleep. But he is going to have to do more to protect in the meantime. So Archer beginning. Could Anotand just maybe hunker down and go for a castle build now? I mean, he has got, I don't want to say retracted gold, but somewhat safe gold. An outpost here should fully protect. Maybe you want to set up... Nah, like this is on a TC. You don't really need a small wall here. Like an outpost, I think, about here would secure practically all the area. And then he shoots the deers into the stealth forest. And now, make them disappear. Yes. The true secret power of stealth forests. Do you see them? No, like, guys, can you... Like, I took my glasses off. Can someone tell me where they are? Some of these are actually insanely hard to see. Like, this one here. Yeah, there is actually one here, chat. Believe it or not, there is one right here. There's also another one here. It doesn't exactly get easier when you zoom out either. Now, it depends on the settings, because if B has, like, low settings, I've noticed that when you have low graphical settings, it's easier. In fact, we might be able to quickly show that. Oh, no, we can't. We'd have to restart the game. I think you can go low texture, though. No, low texture is not going to do it. But I remember I tested this when the game came out. If you change everything... Oh, son of a gun. All right, now I'm going to have to restart game after this. But if you change all the settings to low, funnily enough, the stealth forests don't actually hide deer very well at all. But if you're up against a pay-to-win best PC gamer, then they can actually struggle to find the deer. So B is going to head out now and go, what? Where? He's got to waste extra time looking for the deer is the other thing. Like, it's not just a case of, oh man, yeah, you know, I can still see them, ha ha. It's more a case of, like, you have to kind of do a double check. It's not like if you just see the deer straight away, click them, no, move on. It's probably wasting like 2 or 3 more seconds looking for them. And no, we wouldn't have changed the texture. I don't know why it let me do it without a restart at first. But yeah, textures, most games require a restart for that to apply. Nano's going Yumi. Okay, we're partying now. This is interesting. We've got Spears coming from B. He did have an idea to add Horseman. It's going to feel pretty bad when he realizes what's coming that he didn't keep investing. So Yumi into a timing around Yumi Bannerman makes a lot of sense here. B is getting the first deer home, which is problematic though. So Japan, like, you know, there is a window here, but you have to be so fast with it. Otherwise, China just will outscale you. They'll just set up a Barbican and go castle. In theory, Japan should be in some ways better at diving Barbican hand cannon defenses, because there's should at least be a lot of overkill on Yumi. Right, that's meant to be the value point with Yumi, is if you actually scale up big, when you dive all these standard defenses, it's actually better than diving with standard archers. They move in quicker, but also because there's more of them for the same price, and they get overkilled so much, it means you actually retain a lot more firepower compared to other archer comps. How did you guys predict, by the way? I never checked that at the beginning. Ooh, 60% for B. Okay, that's a little bit surprising. I didn't think that many people would back Japanese, but I think it just goes to show the difference it's making with these new Dark Age plays. Like, Japan's win rate feels like it's on the up. Okay, so B gets the bad news about Yumi. Now, if you can at least get to the age, we're talking Nesta Beast to counteract. Anno is about to get a damage inflation soon, though. We're almost at Daimyo level 1. Just need to gather 27 more stone. Does he just go for an age up instead? I mean, he has good map control, so realistically, you could go for relics after this. You have to know your opponent's teching as well, because he's not really coming out anymore. What's the deal with China going archers over Chug? To go Chug, you'd have to spend an extra 600 resources and build a landmark. It's very different timing. If you want a fast castle, going archer over Chug makes much more sense. 1, because you're not spending 600 resources. But 2, like, you're an early point just turning wood and food into gold through taxation. And that, usually with this type of build, leads to China just inflating, you know, 1k, 2k surplus gold over a long feudal. Yumi, now the dive in. Has got some worker kills so far, so good start here. And more workers are hanging around, but instead going to trade out up against the archers. B making a bit of a mistake here on the time. He didn't realize his opponent was going to dive. Didn't have undermesh yet. He's now fixing that, but B got forced over onto the berries. Yeah, he's now going to have to shuffle the deer to the other side. He still hasn't picked up everything on the east side, let alone started moving into Anotand's deer. So in some ways, Anotand is hitting his win condition here. I do think there's still a few too many deer that were allowed through. But it's fair to say that when B does tech up, his food income is going to be quite limited. Especially with him already exhausting berries. I think Anotand now is prepping himself for a tech up, because he can use this amount of Yumi to block the pro scouts in the meantime. And then look to tech behind. What is KT supposed to do against Delhi? Pick it on a map where you have some form of fishing. And you will win. Tip the hat. Okay, so Ashton Clock Tower coming in now. Anotand, this is probably just going to be standard floating gate. I know a lot of people have been going crazy for the Buddhists, but this type of game, I think you just have so much gold access. Buddhist is a little bit depreciated in value. And on top of that, I think you need the timing to control the map. This should turn into a relic race quite quickly. I also love this from Anotand. Guys, one thing that's really unique about Alopecia is it has the highest count of abandoned outposts on any competitive map. 4. Now, why that's important is look at the locations. Most of the deer have spawned in the range of these things. In particular, B's one. So Anotand getting these captured allows him to know where to rotate earlier in the game. And lets him know if he's actually getting counterplayed. Which is important because Anotand doesn't have a scout. Meanwhile, B has plenty, right? So you don't want to be running blind into a counterplay. This tournament just keeps reminding you of how you're balled. Man. Like, if only there was something you could do to solve that, though. Like, maybe there's, like, a service provided by a 4-letter company that could get you medical assistance and medication to maybe reverse the effect of that balding. I mean, wait a second. That's exactly what we've got. Exclamation mark HIMS. Yeah, check them out. They've got an easy to follow through on survey that should be able to recommend some solutions that might work for you. And you can see results in 3 to 6 months. Which is pretty appropriate, because I'm hoping we'll have them still here in 3 or 6 months. You know what? I'm actually pretty impressed by Anotand's position in this game right now. He mirrored the age up. He's got mounted samurai coming in, which this is the point where your military is going to be notably better than China's. Lancers to mirror, but they will not be mounted samurai in similar numbers. And the thing about Yorishiro drops is you kind of get the supervision effect that you get from China. 16 seconds compared to over here, I think it goes down to, is it 15 or 18? It's pretty damn strong for mirroring the play. We do have a Monk Rush coming out from B to try and secure those relics. One's already on the way home, but the Yuumi are looking to intercept the move out of the base here. Looks like you won't be able to find the Monk, but actually might be able to snipe the Nest of Bees here. Yeah, he's going to start stacking shots in. And B, oh, this is painful. He can't really force a villager pull, or it's going to cost him. Oh, I say that. Looks like he's going to go for it. The Lancers do arrive, but the Mountain Samurai in as well. Yuumi going to go for the trade out. He dives in deeper to the Nest of Bees, shots whiffs. And the Mountain Samurai is on top of it. So villagers have to abandon. Anotand is in a great position right now. Nest of Bees gets taken out. On top of that, B, limited food access now. Yuumi going to go diving in. Not going to be able to find too many worker kills currently, but this is just the prelude to the main course. Mounted Samurai spam is underway. Anotand already has enough in the base to have B fearing here. No crossbows from B. He's still trying to play the Lancer game, and it feels like a con here. The Spearmen guarantee it. I know, a little bit too deep. We'll have to retreat. Outpost defense working for now for B, but I'm worried for the food source, man. Like, he's almost out, right? I think he's got... Is it 3 deer left? Yeah, about 3 deer stack total. I think it's about 1,000 food he's working with there between 4. Also losing the Monk. Behind this, remember, one of the relics already has been dropped off home. Anotand has got a second Yorishiro drop, which has now come in. I think he's... Yeah, going for the TC. I'm blind. Why did that health bar blend in my brain? So that's double problem for B. He never got Song, which means he's falling behind on villagers now. He's at grave risk of losing the relic game. Looks like... Wait. B? Okay, he does at least see a mistake there. So it's probably a 2-3 split. I know switching into Onomushu is intriguing here. So his concept is wipe the archers and your opponent's still going knights, so this will be effective. He'll still have Mounted Samurai to swarm Nest of Bees. I mean, what's Bees out here? Because, like, one thing to note with this map, I love that both these maps kind of achieve this, is farm transitions feel a little bit uncomfortable. I like these maps where you don't just have a full corner camp, like back here, that you can build farms into. I like that there's a challenge to it. You don't just get it for free. And we saw in week 1, Receding done that really well. And Alopecia's also proved it as well. I remember Lucifron trying to do a mass farms build with Shushi. He didn't look like he was having a fun time. It felt hard-earned. Another big idle hit there. We do have a relic snuck by, actually. Hello. So B's going to get the 3rd one back. Maybe? I'd be surprised. No, there you go. Aggro finds him. Okay, so Monk should end up getting denied here. More troops can be pulled across. Meantime, the Tricker raids are adding up. There's now 6 worker kills in total. Anotand may seem ahead, but remember, you know... Oh, sorry, B may seem not too far behind, but remember, A lot of this is taxman as well. It's deceptive on the count. Nicely done. So another relic found. What does B do here? I think for B, this game just became a little bit more survival-esque. So likely he's going to, hunker down, try to weather the storm, gradually get into farms. That's annoying because your opponent on the other side already has, remember. Anotand, this is the difference with Kura Storehouse, and why I'm not really surprised people return to it. Koka Township is awesome, but I think Koka Township makes sense for feudal all-ins. And we never really had that meta when it's popular. Now that we're back towards people, opening Dark Gates for greed and then trying to play for Castle again, more now than ever, I think Kura is just going to be king. Okay, so B is now going for the walls. For Anotand, could he do something like 2TC here? We are getting Barbican from B, which is going to allow him to not fall behind further. But remember, your opponent already has the song effect by Yorishiro dropping his town center. And there we go. It's going to be 2TC. I like this Rano. Yeah, because this is the thing, guys. China is one of the most annoying civs to try and dive and end. Because of those Nesta Bs. And those hand cannon slots. It's not really worth the risk. The way I kind of compare these ones, and it's not to the extreme where, like, B is dead, right? But he is a little bit beat down, and kills are harder to now get into his base. So the way I kind of compare this, like, I remember, like, MOBAs are a great way of explaining this, because in MOBAs, you've got XP advantage, right? Like, when someone's very high XP, you kill them, and he's going to kill him here. What? B comes out of the base, and actually just calls it. I guess he wasn't expecting that many Mount Samurai. But I guess we'll finish a little TED Talk to round this one out. So, remember, guys, like, the reason why Anotand didn't just full-on commit to the base and skirt it around is B either had to come out or slow starve. If he'd gone in, he probably would have struggled to get that many kills for the dive effort. It's kind of like when you play an RPG or a MOBA and someone's level 1 and you're level 20. If you kill a level 1 character, you don't get much XP. So that's the thought process there. I think that's why he didn't want to dive too hard, and Anotand just understood he could play the eco game instead, but don't think many people would have predicted that. Japan getting a win over the Chinese. And it's not like it's a washed out player. These are two top contenders. Yeah. Let me mark that up. So 1-1 apiece. But yeah, it's an interesting way to think about like games like Age of Empires 4, and it makes a lot of sense when you consider how defensively oriented AoE 4 is. Like, defenders do have an advantage. So being able to understand when you're not getting enough return for your investment is a really important element of Age of Empires 4 on the attack. And we've seen it so many times, right? Where someone just overly aggressive and they lose everything, and they're like, okay, now this is like a 2-hour game. Okay, so looks like we're going to Prairie next. And yes, you did just hear me correctly. We are doing Prairie. I do not remember the last time when this was used in a tournament. It's been a while, no? It feels like it's been quite some time. Is the Elite Classic today or tomorrow? Tomorrow. EGC tournaments are on weekends, bud. For your weekday stuff, you come here. Because we got you covered. Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Wahoo. Okay, so let's see. Game is going to be Mongol versus French. Yeah, so two very traditional picks for Prairie, as I think we should expect. Let me mark it up. And let's get into game. If we can get predictions started, please! As we hop into a classic. What an all! I do not remember the last time we got to see this. Oh, wait. Oh, a sec. No, I'm going to fix that. I just realized. We need to restart the game, chat. Our textures, they got scammed. Ugh. Alright. Let me quickly restart. I totally forgot, because we were trying to show something off, and then we lowered the texture quality. I noticed it straight away. I looked at that gold, I was like, no. Petit. Production value too important to allow that. Oh, could you imagine low texture resolution gold veins in my video games? Hell no. All right, so we should be able to load back into game in time that you guys will be able to make a prediction while seeing the map. So give me a sec. And then we'll fast forward the first, like, 60 seconds. It's probably going to be a Mongol outpost rush because I don't know why else you'd really want to pick Mongols on that map, right? Like, it feels pretty bad if you can't do that beginning play. Louis versus CSO. Gonna be fireworks, man. I think people might be very shocked by the outcome. One and all, we had to bring back this classic. That's right. It's Prairie. When was the last time you saw this in competitive Age of Empires 4? Well, it's going to be fun to see how these two duke it out because we have got two aggressive civs on a very hard to defend map. Anotand in the yellow with the French. B as the green boy playing as Mongols. Yeah, traditionally very powerful picks. I'd say that these were the two of the most frequent picks for Prairie throughout its entire history of existence. Mongols made a lot of sense once upon a time for the trade routes. Silvertree has fallen off a little bit in terms of popularity. Not as good as it once was back when you had the trade trick where you would double produce and then move it to the corner. Other side of it, I think French has always remained a viable pick at any given meta stage and one of the most dominant. French Knights just thrive here because of the tiny tree lines. It's the same reason why French feels really good on maps like Himiyama. There's just not much of a tree line to protect your villages. And when I say not much of a tree line, to the extreme. You might be wondering, why did we pick this map for a HIMS map draft? Because this could be your head already or maybe in a few years. And I thought it was appropriate as a reminder that the good old folks at HIMS that are supporting the channel and sponsoring tournaments, maybe, just maybe, have a product to help solve that. Yeah, they might be able to reverse the loss of hair. Go check them out. Exclamation mark HIMS. But who is going to be the him who thrusts the trophy? Because the interesting one is B's back for the second time in HIMS Cup, Anotand the first ever time appearing. I think B's going to be a little bit, maybe, I don't want to say sore. I think he had a great result in Elite Classic 3, but the way he's been playing these weeklies and in these show matches, I think he just maybe felt like anything short of the semis felt underperformed. But I hope he doesn't feel that way. Like, the crazy thing that we're seeing in 2025 is how, I think, vibrant the competition's becoming. You know, we saw Louis MT making Marine Lord sweat. We've seen Beastie get whooped by Louis on LAN. You know, we've seen CSO take out prominent players. Then you've got, you know, others who in recent ST tournaments are having their best performance ever. I don't know. I like this. I was saying this on the stream the other day. I actually hate it when you have a dominant force in the scene. I think it's so bad. I respect the skill, and it's a marvel, and there is a way to enjoy it, but I love it when I'm able to have a tournament, and let's say I invite 16 players. 8 of them could easily be first place. That is the dream competitive scene. Outpost is going to be a nightmare for the French. So we do get the standard opening, but B has been very lean about this. Notice he didn't add in more spears under the 2. Anotand gives way, though. A little bit surprised by this. Yeah, well, the problem for Anotand is I think he was scouting on the flanks because something that he did in the opening here, very popular back in the down prairie, double scout. Look at his food haul. He's got 26 sheep. In fairness, though, B done pretty well himself. 18 to work with. So for Anotand, I guess there isn't an urgency to go towards pro scouts. What's scary for him in this matchup is B is probably one of the, if not the most prolific Mongol pro scouting player. Yeah, he was doing it with Mongols before anyone else was really considering it to be that viable. So I wouldn't be surprised if he takes that advantage when Anno has no map control to try and snatch away the goodies. It's a little bit risky on such an open map against French Knights, though. And how did the predictions end? 50-50. Yeah, I can back that. I'm really hoping this is going to be a 9-game series. I mean, content farm, right? But at the same time, these two, when I watch them play, it doesn't often feel like one has the clear competitive edge over the other. Second outpost attempt was a little bit greedy there, so B is going to have to pull away. He's going to try to recommit. I think maybe it's now too late, but he might as well punt and see if he can force a reaction. The scout has seen him. He's going to pull the board to be a little bit annoying to slow down the spear response, but the villagers aren't being pulled, weirdly enough, out of Anotand. Really? No, he's going to try to rush the archers, but that's not going to be quick enough before outpost goes up. So he's adding in horsemen. No, he can't. Wait, he cancels? I didn't think he had enough on the wood, maybe? Yeah, he needed it for the archer. But the timing feels a little bit weird here. So we're, what, 35 seconds away from being complete? Only one archer is coming out. Remember, that one archer is going to take quite a while to kill a villager. It's going to take him, I think, 30 seconds from full health. Oh, wait. But yeah, he was half HP. So Anotand, beautifully calculated, will force the deny. He just has to cancel, pack up, and go home. Deerstone is coming behind, so it is not going to be trade either. Props to Anotand the way he played this, actually. I feel like he didn't over-idle. In some ways, B's the one who feels more idled now. Because the villager spent a long time running around and didn't really achieve the follow-up objectives at all. While Anno only once pulled a villager to deny this one. So just a good, comfortable position for him to be in. And scaling archers isn't a terrible thing to do anyway, folks. I love this as well. He goes beyond the outpost rushed gold to just secure this one instead. It's smart because right now to contest into the enemy outpost would cost you a lot of units. It's just not really worth it. Looks like B is going to be opening Keshik, which would have made sense if your opponent hadn't just got access to knights now. Remember, knights are able to easily sweep aside Keshik count of similar count. And B doesn't have any economical upside because he didn't go Silver Tree. So probably what B's going to have to do is lean, I don't want to say heavily on Spearmen. I think you probably want to try to add in archers at some point. Then again, can you against French? Like, this is one of those weird matchups. Like, most matchups in Mongols, I'd say archers is the most consistently reliable unit in your comp. Well, unless you're doing like some fast Imperial with where you go Magadai beginning. But French is the exception where this type of comp probably makes a lot more sense. He's switching into Magadai, actually. Okay, so this is just B taking a raiding approach then. Because your enemy's got knights coming. They don't die quickly to the Magadai. Archers will counterplay you as well. So it seems like B is just understanding that like if he plays this game slow, economically he will be weak. This is all about timing. And Magadai is a perfectly designed unit for maps like this to give you tempo. Look at what B is up to with that tempo. It is going to be castle. Yeah, so Anotand has scouted this though. A little bit suspicious when you look in the enemy base and you see this many villagers on the gold. Like it is, what, 7? 9. 9 villagers on gold is suspicious as all hell. So this is not a secret anymore. B knows that he's been seen. I don't think there's really a fake out at this point where you're like, now I double down on Magadai and catch him off guard. You just have to be cognizant of the fact what you're doing is known. So that'll probably lead to B being a bit more tempered with his approach on the dives, as there's a risk your opponent comes to you. Magadai soon to arrive. Anotand did at least get the outposts up. So the gold isn't harassable. The tree line is the one threat point available right now. I wonder if Anotand just tries to skirt his way into castle as well. If you go castles Anotand, you're still looking for an all-in timing, because the risk is if you play tech for tech, Mongols are really good at that game right now due to the Imperial Rush. Magadai not quite able to find their kills. Yeah, always a tricky issue. You punt the Falcon out too early, you end up revealing yourself because the Khan Hunter shoots earlier than everyone else. Same with the Khan himself. Like, Magadai has notably less range than both these units, while being better on DPS. So normally, like, this is a little tip for you. When you want to raid a tree line, you don't want to throw the Falcon out straight away. You want to get as close to the tree line as possible, and then throw the Falcon. Gives you the best chance for all your units to attack an enemy villager, instead of just the Khan for 2 damage. Sorry, 3. Sorry to insult Khan spammers. I miscalculated your damage output by 1. Go big boy. Okay, so being able to step readout is going to be fully hunkered down. Anotand, it's a decent number of knights. Might be able to chip a few worker kills. Ooh. Okay, you got the short range charge, but wait, what was that attack? I mean, there wasn't one was the weird part. It felt like he should have been able to club 2 down there, but gets nothing in the end. You know, B still trying to be a little bit of a nuisance, but no to find targets. I wonder, does B maybe move his tree line to the east corner? Just kind of puts it in a safe location, harder to get full 360 rotated on. Knight's not going to hang around in the meantime. Great micro Anotand peeling away the injured. We dive onto the spearman. The TC and outpost fire is adding up. These knights taking good damage. Gonna try to skirt them away, but target fire should be there from the outpost. Spearman placement is also gonna be on the way, but it looks like the knight gets away on 1 HP. Anotand claims 2 souls and gets away with, was that what, 2 knight deaths? Not too bad, especially with the idle time achieved here. Anno still has plenty more knights where that came from, and of course is now trending towards the castle. What do you think of Knights Templar right now? A week ago, some pros were saying it was strong, and now they're saying it's trash. I think the problem with Knights Templar is they're predictable. Some civs are predictable and overwhelmingly powerful. The problem with Knights Templar is I feel like they have to scale into a very obvious comp in Feudal, and they have to overwhelm with that comp. The thing that you've got to remember, the thing that makes a lot of other civs powerful, like HRE is an obvious one, but I'm going to just say HRE because screw it. Oh, they can play long Feudal, they can go fast Castle, they can go fast Imperial. You know, like French, they can play long Feudal, they can go fast-ish Castle, like semi-fast Castle into Guildhall, play for a later phase of the game. There's even an argument for the good old 2TC to return when the dust settles. But for Knights Templar, you can't really rush Ages, because rushing Ages costs you units, costs you production, costs you economy, rather. It puts you drastically behind on village count at key points. So yeah, I don't know. I think for Knights Templar, the issue is A, lack of diversity through rushed Ages. They can't really do it that well. But B, a lack of diversity through option as well. Like, the French Commandery is just way too good, and the others are too bad. So yeah. I'd rather see them kind of rebalance that standpoint, and then we'll see how Knights Templar function. Also, remember, when pros were calling it Imba a few weeks ago, I did receive some nerfs to things like wood gathering rates. Meanwhile, see if they got bathed over here. Choo-choo, Mongols. He's going for it. B. I don't really blame him. Anotand. The knight count isn't exactly out of this world crazy right now. And with sprint placements coming in, it's going to get very difficult to dive. He did go for the guild hall, so we'll have his own scalability. B. Well, looks like it's going to be a migrate out of the base from the builder force. These knights are fishing for that 1 kill. B with the yam. Tries to minimize losses. Could actually make it to the outpost. Yep, no kills to be had. And now sprint placements becoming a problem here. Yeah, this is the crazy thing about this build, actually, when you think about it for Mongols. Wood is definitely a problem, but gold most definitely isn't. You start with an 8k in your base. The step readout is more than ample for getting you into Imperial. So what does Anno do now? He's losing villagers. Looks like the Khan is actually sniping kills now that he does 6 damage. Magadai are just going to be thrown away. But these raids into the base for Anotand haven't really yielded results so far. The only upside for him is the fact that B has to eat rocks. He doesn't have food. He's pretty hard blocked, actually. So at this point, it just feels like B kind of has to sell to get food. He's now extending the outpost out to get onto these berries. What a weird game this has become. Imagine being on 200 food income now for probably like the next 3 or 4 minutes, but still having the potential to win the game. That's a crazy thing to say out loud, but it's something that Mongol is definitely capable of with this build. Because the Karganet provides just so much raw production per minute in terms of resources. It's a huge ramp up. Like at this stage in the game, if you get a Karganet by the time you have, say, 50 villages, it feels like a 25% buffer to your economy. But in some ways, it's even better because you're like saving all these resources to producing these units for free. But it's also like these are producing the units, right? Whereas, you know, normal interactions is I gather resource and then I queue up unit. So there's 2 steps to the process that kind of slows down the gather resource point into the yielding result, right? Kind of like a delayed investment. You remember how we used to describe this with why mercenaries for Byzantines felt bad once upon a time? It's like you had to stockpile all these resources to then eventually get something. I know. Oops. Well, Outpost is eventually going to go down, but it's been a lot of wasted effort on the wrong side of the map because on B's side, we're about to see Karganet. Yeah, and undiveable, really, with a triple outpost with sprinkler placements. He knows that Anotand doesn't have the timing here. And here's the other reason he knows. This outpost from B saw everything for so long. He saw how many knights were coming. He saw how many were not. Yeah, I know, like, props to him for this idea of spreading out on the map and trying to deny resources, but this is just what Mongols do so well. They don't really need much in the way of resources. Yeah, the counter this play, by the way, is meant to be all-inning Mongols. If you see them trying to go Karganet, you just need to send it into them. But the problem is that Anotand didn't really find that timing. I think for Anno, what was kind of missing here was maybe Rams. Because he doesn't have any. Right, he just went Mass Knight. So I guess he was thinking he'd need to go Imperial eventually. I wonder if that's kind of a little bit of a bait with Guildhall here, though, because it doesn't exactly come in fast. There we go. First, it's actually going to be Nesta Bees. And Nob's not really that great. Turns out B doesn't have Anatand's luck. If you guys recall, in the Elite Classic, there was a game between Poppy Paw and Anotand, where Anotand, when he needed Nesta Bees, just kept generating them. Now, I know that B loves Knobs, but against Mass Knights, it's probably not the highest value thing here. I think you'd rather have either Horse Archers, Magadai, or the Roost Knights. Dynamics of this game have been very weird, actually. I wonder what Anatand's thought process is and how he perceives his win condition. Because as we said, like most players' feeling on this is that when I see a Mongol player trying to go Imperial Age, I need to attack into him. But instead, he's just kind of allowed it to happen. I think Anatand's thought process is that as long as I constrict the map, he'll get there, but he won't have much to do with the villages afterwards. So I think that's what he's leaning for here, is that, yes, the Karganet adds in a lot of free resources per minute, but if all the workers can't gather any resources per minute, it doesn't matter. I kind of like that idea. Because we know that as food transition is hard here, and although the gold has served B well, it has its limitations. You can see he's almost tapped the 8k already. And then he has this one safe resource in the corner, but he hasn't secured that yet. That's the other tricky part here, is outpost with spoon replacements is what stops Anotand easily diving this area. But what happens when you have to leave the base? Looks like we are going to be seeing the Knights now. So this I think, is the MVP for you. Unfortunately, the timing has been kind of weakened by this. Anotand now coming in with a red pass. Now, keep in mind, these Roost Knights actually do contest French Knights really well. They have the Boy's Fortitude, and they also get the Pole Axes. So very tanky and also good damage output. But this is a bigger problem for Anotand. Magadai chasing him down. So he's going to lose a few Knights. The Red Palace, though, will be able to push B easily out of the base. Great quick reaction there. Doesn't get stuck in range long. Yeah, doesn't get stuck in range long. Still loses double Magadai. Oh, God. Red Palace is something else. How did it get 2 shots out? I just don't understand this landmark. Islam March reminds me of that gun in Resistance where you could tag someone and then you could look away and the bullets would all go to them. It's like, well, we shouldn't really still be shooting people, but okay. This is about to get rough, though. Silk bowstrings. Uh-oh. Yeah, if you thought these guys shoot far now. But the Khan Hunter, he now has 6.5 tower range on these bad boys. And Sire Bowlimbs is also following this up. Anno has done a good job of finding resources elsewhere, by the way. This is the 4th relic coming in. 5th one has also just been picked up. Wait, no? Okay, it's over here. Wait. Yep, he does see it. So it's going to be a 5 relic game. That's important with Guildhall as well. I mean, there's a risk that what B's doing on Magadai is long-term not very sustainable here because of the lack of gold. But for the time being, we talked about needing to actually claim out into the map to get these gold sources. He's done it. Yeah, Magadai just keeping Anotand pinned in his base. And I'm wondering, like, dare I say the words farm transition? A really big reason why Mongols look so good on this map is the pastures. Pastures feels like a very efficient way of just switching food compared to farm clustering. So it's going to be a night dive in here. Anotand fishing for kills. It's going to move over the north side. And, well, we do have some Springwood emplacements coming through. But not much in the way of melee units to defend with. No, it's going to be 3 Roost Knights versus the world. The Nestabees get sniped straight away. And yet, he's almost already killed off the Knights. Now, reinforcements are coming in from the Magadai. That is going to force Anotand away. Really delicate timing there. This many Knights could have easily blitzed through the outpost defenses. So B gets back just in the nick of time. And B also, I mean, is this lucking out or striking out? In theory, it's good because he has an ounce of a red palace, but the timing is kind of bad. B isn't at a stage where he can push up to the enemy base yet. Yeah, a lot stronger though. And Snare is now being followed up here. It's a minute and 50 now. I always actually like these Warrior Monk rolls, by the way. I think there's a lot of people that just kind of roll their eyes when they get the Warrior Monk. It's like, I mean, say in chat. Like, one's in chat if you're one of the people that's kind of like got Warrior Monk going, oh god, this is terrible. But I think it's deceptively good, actually. The Warrior Monk with the +2 and +1, so +2 damage, +1 ranged, a really big deal. Especially on Magadai, by the way. And getting 2 damage is almost a 20% increase to your DPS. You hate Magadai? It's a weird unit, isn't it? You just don't see it for so long. Magadai, like, we call them meme Gadai for a reason. And then every once in a while, they find a meta. And it starts to feel like one of the most toxic things ever. It's just a unit you can never catch that just keeps shooting you. Doesn't get much more toxic than that. Well, looks like he's going to find the Wee Pow. Or not. Oh god, he's not even going to kill it, is he? So Knight's down. Meanwhile, Magadai is still sneaking around the back. Now, he didn't find any workers there. It was a good pull away by Anotand. But the farms over here could be in trouble. He has gone 2 TC. And remember, this is a shotgun disguised as a town center. He can snipe the Magadai fairly well, but it is going to take 3 hits for these harvesting placements to kill. Just ride by on the farms. He's going to hang around too long for this. But it's important that the B's forcing this out of time because Anotand has a big Knight issue. Like, what happened to the count? He got erased across the map. I didn't think those 3 Knights here was that big of a deal, but the Knights in retreat all got erased. He's down to 7. He's got no great food income. He's being found out in the middle, and oh no! I'm surprised he doesn't dive. Like, B, he's respecting the fragility of his Magadai, but there was just a send it moment there. I know now with the 3rd TC being set up on the north side, he's feeling desperation mode here. But I'm starting to question, like, what is the golden solution? You're trying to still spam Knights into a kiting range unit, and you have 500 food income a minute. I think B's got him. There is something ironic about Mongols being able to out-aggro French, right? Considering French are just historically one of the most frustrating, all-in-your-face type civs imaginable. But when Magadai work, they thrive. It's also a tricky one, because I have heard people quite vocal about this fast Imperial build. You know, on the one hand, you're kind of happy that Mongols are relevant again, but at the same time, it's literally all they do to be relevant. And I think that, in some ways, maybe the Magadai are proving a little bit too effective. I almost feel like Magadai, I want to see them maybe being a bit more impactful in Castle and tuned down slightly in Imperial. Shouldn't Anotand be massing archers? You'd be surprised. At this stage, Magadai can actually trade quite well into archers. Especially with the Khan Hunter. Like, you don't even have a range advantage necessarily as archers. Just get stone walls. Oh yeah, dude, just like stonewall this incredibly open map. It's only prairie, man. Alright, wee wee pow on the way. It's gonna be a wee wee owl for the French boy here. Double wee wee, in fact. He with the dive? Oh, he just wants the worker kills. Check this. There's way too many here. 10 excess workers. But don't worry, son. Not for long. He just runs him straight through. And the wee wee power shots are already coming in. So TC not going to be standing much longer anyway. In fact, it's already down to 100 HP. A bit of miss micro there. B pulling away. New wee wee shot is going to hit before the repair crew does enough, though. The rest of the workers to be lost. We do have the Knights trying to intercept. The Palace Guard were able to body block out. And despite the fact that Anotand went free TC, he's about to be behind on economy. Magadai just keep creeping in, and we have another towns. Okay, come on. At what point do you stick the guild hall on stone? This is ridiculous. Finally, maybe a hit back. Anotand goes to that goal line. PG obviously not meant to win against Royal Knights, but they buy enough time. Yeah, you guys are thinking about this wrong. When you play French, why would you go walls when you can build TCs? TCs shoot back, you know? Also, I feel like historically, just building walls makes Mongols more angry, if anything. Oh, but KP, great wall. Okay, yeah, but what about all those other people like, we're going to hide in our settlement and be safe? And then discovered that Magadai are very good at shooting over walls. With flaming arrows. Oh, no. Oh, God, he's in again. Can you please stop attacking the mill, though? What was that auto aggro? Okay, manly targets onto the villages. The damage is really hitting through now. It's 16 damage into 8 ranged armor. These knights are melting. It might not look at it, but like, remember, these guys have 364 HP. They are dying quite quick for what they are. And this isn't even B near critical mass, right? This is only a small group of Magadai. It's crazy. Like, if Anno could just get a little bit of breathing room here, the plan makes sense. So for P, you know, although things look good right now, he has to be consistently in Anotand's face. Especially with it now being 4 TC. And no, guys, I'm not done yet. He's got enough stone to go for another 2. I think he's making poor man TCs here. Poor man castles, rather. Horseman counter the Magadai? It's kind of weird. The gap close is difficult, especially when your opponent reaches his own territory. I honestly don't think it's as good as you think. And like, you have to remember, the thing for Anotand, the reason why he keeps doing knights, he has loads of gold, not lots of food. Prairie is a map with plenty of gold to play onto, but the food runs out fast. And with a lack of wood, farm transitions are hard to earn, which is why Anotand is stuck to knights. Horsemen are fast? Yeah, but they're not as fast as you think. If you run into Mongols in their own territory, Magadai move at 1.8. You're only 0.08 quicker. And that issue we just highlighted, where half the damage is going through the knights, same thing for horsemen. Right? They don't have more ranged armor than knights. Okay, things are starting to calm down a little bit. Santan's blobbed up to triple digits now in the economy. I am starting to like his position a bit now. Now he's got the castle drops coming in as well. I think this is the thing that's missing for the discount. Yeah, multiple castles, in fact. Like, the problem for B now is Magadai on their own might not be good enough to win. He needs something else, and he's going to be switching Spear Horsemen. Yeah, makes sense. The Hui Hui piles, I think, you're win condition, so you just want to protect them. So to the question about Anotand building archers, you can't. Prairie is literally the worst map in the game for trying to build archers on. There's just not good wood access. If anything, Anotand can maybe try Arbitrary. The problem with Arbitrary is they get kited even more than archers. Because remember, Arbitrary, they'll put Beast Drop and then discover that these Magadai have pretty damn good range. If I can click the right one, because I'm blind, I guess. Look at this. They have 5.75 tower range, so you barely outrange them with Arbitrary. I know, going long trade now. Stone walls as well. Okay, so this is good. If he gets these stone walls up, B's in a bit of a pickle. Oh my god, I'm starting to get flashbacks to the last time we had Prairie and B was on it. Wasn't it B versus Beastie? And that game went over an hour. We had a crash and we had to... Like, we crashed as a spectator. I had to go back in. Oh god. Okay, so B, I guess he's trying to brute force now. Before it was about raiding, so biology wasn't that important. But now he wants to be able to directly contest. I've got triple nest of bees. Not relevant here. Your opponent never switched Arbitrary. Needs a lot more spear, though. Does not have a Lee Army Tactics? Yeah, so no Lee Army Tactics is going to make this very difficult to hold with spears. Unless he inflates up to, like, roughly 40. Because the goal, you can see what it is for B. He understands how powerful these Arthas emplacements are. He doesn't want to dive. So he's going to wait for the siege to arrive to get him through. But remember, the moment you start leading siege is the moment you lose your mobility. Do you think he has enough outposts? Like, nope, still going to take some lives. Ah, he double fought himself. Could have got the double kill. Another thing that's interesting on this map, we talked about how wood is very limited. You could actually just use traders to justify that. And then that would transition more villagers into farms, which is better in the late game than using the traders for food. The farm count, by the way, is already pretty good. He's up to 52. Good lord. And the knights. Oh, lordy. He's in. The STB damage kind of irrelevant, but nice to get rid of them all the same. Magadai are going to arrive with the backstab here. The Warrior Monks did give the blessings. These boys are a lot more tanky. And now the DPS increases well for the Magadai. Up to 18 damage. Faces on. Will have the castle to hide behind. But Anotand, without his own reliable backline, the closest he gets to trading out against Magadai ranged are these castles. And last time I checked, castles can't, like, unentrench from the ground with legs showing and walk across the map. What a miraculous game it would be if they could. Am I seeing that right? Oh god, dude, this is going to be the longest game. Oh my god. I'm starting to think Prairie might be a more interesting map if we move the marketplaces. B's going stone commerce. He's already setting up the marketplaces. It's about to be a never-ending game. Yeah, we have two of the best trading civs in the game. French because of the variability and also the extra gold gen from the guild. And then you've got Mongols with Silver Tree trade. Well, not Silver Tree, you know, the scaling trade. Good old Silk Road. And don't forget, Anotand also does have a guild hall. This is going to be a full wall. Yeah, he's secure. Wait, no. Wait, no. It's okay. You'll chop through and realize, right? Right? Nice in the base in the meantime, though. Reminder that B has been getting it too good. He has 66 worker kills. It's time that Anotand claimed a few souls. Oh, boys here. 52 knights. Plenty more to come. I start to move over to the corner where the trade's being set up. We'll fund the nest bees for free. B has 40 Magadai. What are they doing? Okay, yeah, there's a group here. There's another group chasing over here. So he blocks the chase onto his tree line. Not too much damage done to B so far. Like, this is fine for him. If he loses 5 or 10 workers, it's not too drastic. For him, because the Magadai aren't quick killers, like comparative to a Knight going to be better than one Magadai. He needs more military mass for that reason. Otherwise, you just don't kill them quick enough before they do things. Speaking of things they're doing, they are going to find additional worker kills. B isn't even pulling away right now. He's like, no. Keep gathering. You're fine. 75 of you is enough. That was minus 20 Knights in response. Ooh, nice find. The step readout. Outpost didn't go up quick enough. Now, the Magadai are quick to respond. He doesn't really need this gold. It's just not going to be the killing blow. I think at this point, Anotand might just have a raw macro issue. He has 150 economy. It feels like a little bit too much. And what is up, Craven? Never too many of those. Appreciate the sub, mate. Thank you very much. But now the Knights are going to be diving the base again. I guess Anotand's just trying to cut him down on economy. Yeah, he understands that if he tries to blob piece for piece, like same military count, you just get tired. But the villages, I mean, that's the weak spot. If you can clear the villages and get that low enough, you can start then fixating on the Magadai issue. He's just trying to not put the cart before the horse. Which fits, because this entire game is about horses. I do wonder if B would just benefit from having less spears at this stage. Because the problem for the spears is it's kind of tricky for them to get in position, right? Like, they've just been sitting here. Which just doesn't feel like a very cost-efficient usage of, 10% of your population. He also needs to consider siege. We do have the gap filled now. There's literally no way for him to get through without siege. Yeah, we're seeing the weakness of Mongols. It's not just the fact they can be dove in one location predictable in late game. It's the fact that they can't defend well. Think about the grand difference between these two. One player has walls, the other has not. What a noob. You can't as Mongols. It's one of the biggest disadvantages imaginable in the late game. And it's continued to be a curse upon Mongols' existence. And Knights are in again. There's just not really that many villages here. At this point, B doesn't have overflow. Spears with the weird pathing. There's a lot of idle time being achieved, but remember, B has got plenty of food in reserve, so the game is definitely not over anytime too soon. I don't think he's going to call it anytime too soon anyway. Not until Anotand builds up a big reserve and then deletes, like 30 villages and goes more bulk. Which will eventually happen, by the way, because the guild hall. It's already up to 4.5k food. Once he gets to 10k plus, he can afford to have probably 20 less workers on farms. And then you just go for a full device end. Because let's say it fails. Let's say like you do this double down twice where you're at 80 military and it doesn't work. Well, that's fine, because now you can just use your 4 TCs to rebuild the villages. God, I totally forgot about Prairie. So in my defense, folks, I'm going to defend this. I was like, what are bald-themed maps? Like the most obvious one is a map which doesn't have a lot of wood. Because you could be like, oh yeah, like the wood is like the hair of the map. And it doesn't have a lot. That'd be great for the HIMS Cup. I'm so sorry. I'm like looking here, I'm like, what have I done? What monstrosity have I concocted? Mind you, I guess with a statement like not a lot of wood, it would have fit for the ED month of the HIMS campaign as well. Oh, poor B's like, okay, so like this is it, huh? This is the existence. I guess I'm just gonna have to get the siege up here. He could just build a siege workshop and just produce like 1 ram. That would do what he needs to. How's B only have 160 stone income? 7 stone per. He doesn't have an Uvu, I think. I don't know, where would the Uvu be? Yeah, I don't think he ever produced a new Uvu, so it's probably out of stone. Okay, yeah, he just set it up. So an extra 150 now. So it's inflating correctly. Okay, hear me out. If this game goes 2 hours, B will win. And here's why. Cannon emplacements. Interesting thought there, actually, for Mongols. That gradual stone trickle, and then just a gajillion cannon emplacements. I don't think Anotand wants to go that deep, though. We talked about that point where he'd make a switch. It's happened. He's gone down to 120 eco, and it isn't because B killed any of them. He just wanted them gone. It's a mango switch. Adjustable crossbars coming in. 64 knights as well. Bloody hell. Comes next food dive? I don't think it even needs to be a food dive at this point. You could just camp there indefinitely with this many troopers. Especially the man goes to assist now. I know he's going to be on the march. Heat drop comes in on the south side and, well, B feels obliged to dive it. Even though he's never killing it. Right? Right? Like, there's no way Magadai would kill a cast. They're killing the cast. It has core architects! Come on. Oh, what was that we were saying earlier? Oh, wow. Look, the Mongol horde came and you closed your doors and hid in your castle. Be a shame if we just burn it down, right? Ooh, needs to be careful of the boiling oil, though. Not able to get the kill. So does force the no response, but the rest already went into the base. It's full Scooby-Doo gang mode as they split up to look for clues. We do have another TC snuck in the corner, so B pretty much just using this as a glorified Gur at this point. But look at the yellow dots across the map. Anotand is just everywhere. Yeah, instead of just diving underneath the TC, he's now looking for the trade. Looking for the woodworkers. And looking to turf B out of this game with a loss. He even keeps the castle, which is just crazy. From the stone gathering, you can easily just turn this into a little bit of a keep crawl, moving across the map. Which makes it much harder for the Magadai to sustain. Eco's still shrinking. Gam does at least make it a little bit harder to actually find these worker kills. Especially the 112 health on top of that. Well, guys, that must be it. I mean, look at that. Anotand lost how many knights? What, 30 or so? Oh. Wait a second. He's not running out of resources. He's also switching to stone. I think Anotand is going to try to make this a wonder victory if need be. Magu able to get the wipe. Yeah, the problem... I'm struggling to see B's win condition when he doesn't build any siege. He's trying to go for sacred sites, but that's not reliable now that the keep drop came in here. That, by the way, is why he was so fixated on diving it. He wants to try and win by sacred site. But unless B can find a way to break through those walls and then hit the traders, I just don't see the way. If he ever does do that, Magadai are easily the best trader killing unit in the game, in late game. It's actually the trivial element that wins so many. Like, you know, if you've ever played team games, you get to Imperial 40 minutes in, and then all of a sudden, like, you've all been trading at the back and you see 40 Magadai. You're immediately checking the map to see which noob didn't wall. Everyone's pointing fingers like, what? Which one? Which one didn't do their duty? 8 mangoes now. Is Anno ready for the main fight? I think he's feeling it at this stage. Yeah, I've got horseman production from B, but that's problematic when you've got 56 knights to get through. Mango, a little bit overkill. It's going to be diving to stop the castle here. Hello. Knights are going to block the path. The Magadai are rotating around the back. They're going to be sniping some villages, but good pull there. Anotand brings a few knights over, so the auto attacks go into them instead. Meanwhile, he is pummeling the east side of the engagement. Yeah, mangoes go untouched. Castle goes up. These military numbers looking to go down here. It was about, what, 20, 30 knights maybe lost total, but B, it feels like he lost so much more. Sure, not in mathematical value. but to a degree of, like, he can't afford this. Look at the food income. Things have gone real bad for B at this stage. He's down to 61 workers. Plenty of sheep to club, but not enough people to club him. With the mangoes still up, I mean, Anotand could just gradually crawl into the Mongol base and shut it down forever. Look at the destruction value. Yeah, it's like, I mean, there's been a lot of knights dying. The Magadai raids were good. But this is like the crazy thing about corner trade that really breaks Age of Empires 4. How else could he have justified losing this much in trades? It's crazy. This is also, I guess, like the reminder that Magadai can get you in a position to win games, but often can't win the game on their own. The moment these walls went up, all impact from B's raids stopped happening. It was like they never happened in this game. B forgot blacksmiths. Oh, yeah. So, like, blacksmith techs, like, that's exactly the only reason he lost that fight. Like, the reason why 50 knights and 8 mangoes survived was definitely the +1 damage. It is kind of sad to be spamming Magadai and not have the +1, though, I will say that much. Another castle up. Oh no, you've killed some of our workers. However, will we afford more units? What's that? I can build more knights, Papa? Now remember, guys, there is a critical mass point where you've built too many knights. What was the number Mio set? I think it's like 110. 110 is too far. That's where you need to, like, dial it back. So yeah, it turns out, guys, this actually might be the most appropriate map to spread awareness about balding and how HIMS can help you fix that issue. Because the wood lines are kind of disappearing fast. Right? Like, there's not really much there. If you don't want your head to look like Anatand's tree lines, you should check out HIMS today. Even the stone commerce improved. Took him a while to go back for it. B now has 13,000 gold, by the way. Like, this is getting ridiculous. He's now triple Sacred Site locked in, so theoretically, there is a clear end in sight now. Yeah, if you weren't already going bald, with how late this game's likely to go, we'll probably all be bald from age. And what did B do with his food income? Did he just pull everyone there? He did. Whoa. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. He has no wood income but the passive amount. 70 workers on this screen right now. This map, man. I so forgot it. You guys remember at the start of the game when Gleefy was like, oh man, it's so good to see it back. Prairie used to be so much fun. I'm starting to remember why players got a bit tired of it. We are at, collectively between the two of them, over 300 worker kills. It is still a ridiculous destroyed value advantage for B. But it does feel like it's shrinking a little bit. Also, look at the army value numbers. You can't make this up. And oh my god, he finally accepts it. He knew the trade was going to get shut down. Praise be to B for saving us from a game that could have dragged out for probably another 2 hours. What do you guys think? Do you actually, like, enjoy Prairie? Or is this a firm reminder why you don't want to see it? I mean, for me, I think if we just move the trade post into the center of the map, it's a good map. But yeah, crazy to think, actually, if those walls hadn't gone up, how different this game would be. But a reminder to all those pubbers out there that are getting stomped by Magadai, walls are your greatest of friends. Okay. Holy crap. That was a long one. Is there is nothing Magadai can't beat. Is it 35 mins-ish where they fought a castle? I think so. Okay. Some players will play this out like 90 minutes. Oh yeah, B has before. Like B versus Beastie, I remember that game in KPMM. I think that like game was over an hour and a half long. I think it was like approaching 2 hours when it finally got called. Oh wait, did we not have predictions up for that? Oh, sorry. We'll get that fixed in the next one. So next game, remember we are definitely getting a redraft. We need to know who's going to be the lead. We're going to be going to Highwoods here. Wait, please tell me it's added to the overlay. Yes, it is. Okay. This is fun. We cast a few pub games on this. I remember casting on the opening days of the patch, Kiliadi versus, I think it was Stopper. And that game was wild. Highwoods is a very suffocating map. Also, it's very appropriate to the HIMS theme because when you see it, it's going to be like this almost scattered effect on the minimap. Like imagine if you're just missing clumps of hair. It's kind of like that. You know, like when the hair isn't fully there, which is why it felt appropriate for the HIMS Cup. Because like if you have that type of hair, the pills could maybe fix that, fill in the gaps. But yeah, the thing that I've noticed about Highwoods that makes it quite entertaining is like it's very claustrophobic. In some ways, you feel like you can easily plant the map, but also it can feel risky. It looks like we can run ads. I'm going to run ads for a minute and a half now, so you guys don't have to worry about them afterwards, okay? I'm so thoughtful. Wowie woo wow wow. And then I guess let's put predictions up. Yarp. So G4. Anotand versus B. Oh, nice. Thank you. Already done. What a lad. Is this Enlightened Horizon? No. Highwoods. New map. What do you guys reckon, by the way? How many games do we get in total in this series? I think it'll be like 8. Reminder, it's a BO9. And we still have some wacky maps still to play. So, for example, Mountain Clearing. We've still got Alopecia. We've still got Receding and Wolf Hill. Those ones are going to be nutty. I'm especially intrigued by Wolf Hill. It was a map created, I think, over a year ago, but it recently got updated to include points of interest after we gave some feedback to Caillou. So I think that'll be a fun one to see them party on. Oh my god. Like, I made the mistake of playing... I say mistake because it's so good. I made the mistake of playing a little bit of Clair Obscura before I came online. And there's a song in one of the boss fights. Soundtracks in that game are so freaking beautiful. And I'm sitting here, and I can just hear it in my head. When are the semifinals? This is a show match, mate. There's no semis, it's this. One and all, we done it again. Another brand spanking new map into the competitive scene. For the first time ever, it is my pleasure to introduce you all to Highwoods. Yep, Highwoods seemed appropriate for the HIMS Cup because if my head had the inconsistency of these tree lines, I would definitely want to do something about it. Fun map, though. I'm looking forward to seeing how these two approach it. We've got Anotand on the Ottomans, which feels like a signature pick for both of these. B in response has gone for Knights Templar. Knights Templar does make a lot of sense. So one detail about this map that can be a little bit funky is the sacred sites in the corner. I like Highwood, but I will say probably the one thing that needs to be changed is maybe trade posts and sacred sites. We'll see how the players leverage it in this game. Because it can make for Knights Templar a very easy capture, but also trade for other civs. You can see how that could go wrong after the game we just had on Prairie, which turned into full corner trade. But what's really interesting about this map is all of the center. This open high ground you can play into, the fact that you've got all of the masked areas with stealth forests and small kind of choke points to juke around. What I really love about this map is the idea that because of all these thin tree lines, you might think someone's going to wall like crazy, but I think because of the nerfs they've done to walling a while back, it's not as easily done as you'd think. And instead, what you get is a very rewarding feeling where you can essentially navigate the maze and cut people off, ambush them, surprise them. That's what I find quite thrilling about this map. Looks like we are going to have a thrilling Dark Age. It's going to be Spear on Spear. Spear on Spear, though, this is just going to be a deer shove, right? Okay, so Anatand's going to be laming the other side. He went military school, so he's going to shove his deer, but on a delay. The problem with that is B, because he's actively producing spearmen, could easily just lame your deer before you get them in. Now, reminder, this map actually has quite a reasonable amount of deer to work with. So you get the 5 stack times 3. And then you get, I think it's 2 baby stacks. So you get, is that 42 deer total? That's even more than I remember. Yeah, you get 42 deer on this map. So 21 per player. See, what I find funny about that is that they've both picked civs that don't really pro scouts. Knowing that this map has 42 deer, you'd expect things like China, Shushi, French, Yon, Malians to all be high prio. And no, it's not 5 full packs, it's 6. You just can't see one because he shoved it off the map. So Minaret Madrasa coming in. Because, you know, on a map where I just decreed you have 21 deer on your side of the map, you need more food, right? It's just the safe option, to be honest with you. There are some times where, like, the trade option feels really good because you're trying to play for a greed rush. But I think in the Knights Templar matchup, we were having a discussion about this earlier, which is appropriate now. Knights Templar, there was this talk in chat, like, KP, why do you think players now think that Knights Templar is weak when a week or two ago they thought they were really strong? I think part of it is Knights Templar. What they do quite well, but what they can do quite predictably. And they also feel somewhat map dependent for a map to offer good secret sites. So there's some limitations and some predictability there that's kind of sprinkled into we know what you're going to do. For example, we didn't even start to Theorycraft on the commandery choices for B. Because none of the others make sense. French is just so good. The Chevalier are pretty good in most matchups, but also just the bonus. Very applicable across the board. Yeah, I've heard people say, but Principality of Antioch has the best bonus. I get where you're coming from. 10% melee damage increase sounds really good until you remember what you're sacrificing in the meantime. Like, production rate increase and gold cost decrease is good. And this is relevant early and later on. The damage increase usually only feels that relevant later in the game. So you're pretty much just sacking your feudal age, I feel like, if you go for that bonus choice. Sanctuary straight away. So B, he won't get too much gold for this, right? I think it'd probably be about 90 to 100, which is respectable. Especially considering that it's probably the safest sacred site route you're going to see on a map in a long time. There you go, 99 gold. Nicely done. Archer response from Anno. So this matchup, by the way, like Ottomans versus Knights Templar, I think it is kind of execution based. Both have upsides. So the thing you have to remember is Chevalier trade really well by default into Sipahi, but Sipahi have extra edges to work with. For a start, as you both scale, you both have edges. For Chevalier, it's more health. For Sipahi, it's more effective DPS because the second wave attacks, right? They're going to attack over each other. Then you add in the meta effect. The meta is very strong. Healing, also another possible play. The healing, I think, is more impactful earlier on in the game because it's more wieldable. Because normally when you're playing deep into a feudal age, Knights Templar are going to do two things. They're going to produce archers, they're going to produce chevalier. And the archers are already being prepped. Feel like you're not good enough to deer push and make it viable? Brother, you just need to play high view. Honestly, I think high view is, for deer pushing meta, high view is like playing the meta with training wheels. Because of all these tree lines everywhere, you just get natural terrain to help you push deer in. Yeah, honestly, if you want to learn how to deer shove, free spears makes it very easy. Just be a little bit patient about it and don't rush the deer in too fast and you won't screw yourself over. Even if you do rush it a bit, it rarely goes wrong. If you're talking about one unit deer shoves, yeah, that takes like some execution. Still remember when we done it on the test server and like we had some people in chat going, whoa, KP knows how to deer shove? Like, yeah, brother, my macro is the thing that sucks. I love micro. Okay, is Anotand just going to rush H? Yeah, this is an H3 build. It's just military schools, no active production. Meanwhile, for B, we don't have pro scouts, but he's playing survival techniques. So he already shoved the deer in. And honestly, he could easily plow into these pockets. They're very easily wallable. No. So Webframp, you said that incorrectly. You tried one scout deer push before. You failed herd. There you go. I fixed it for you. I keep forgetting to reattach my badumts button. What do you take with the first Vizier point? Probably Anatolian Hills. Yeah. When you play the macro game, Anatolian makes the most sense. You can sometimes justify going the fieldworks to pick up relics quicker. But I think for him, food-wise, because he got lamed on the deer, he probably felt a necessity towards this, especially considering it looks like he wants to open lances in age 3. You know what I think we're seeing here, folks? Uncomfort of the map, right? Because Highwoods, correct me if I'm wrong, is not in ranked. It's only in the unranked pool. So this is the type of thing you do when you're not entirely sure what to do on the map. You play it safe, you play for tech. This is interesting. We have got Angevin Empire into Ottomans. Yeah. It does make sense, though. Because if you go for the Genoese crossbowman, your opponent's going to build Janissaries Sipahi. It doesn't make sense. If you go for the Genitors, you lose the game. That's how that works. Angevin makes sense because that's your answer to the Sipahi. And the Janissaries are going to lose a lot of effective DPS into you because you're a natural built-in armor. That's a pretty cool idea from B. Yeah, I feel like there's some situations where I watch people go Angevin Empire, and the heavy spears feel like a bait, and it just ends up being about fortresses. But against Ottomans, yeah, I think B's cooking with this. 30% bonus safe pilgrims is insane. It's pretty good, but 30% increase on 99 is going to be an extra like 30 gold, right? It's not going to be life-changing amounts compared to just having a unit that is going to be very efficient against Ottomans as you scale in the late game. You know, the sad reality is Kingdom of Castile would be good for this map design, by the way. I tested it, and it's interesting because you can set up a fortress on the high ground, and then you can trebuchet, and usually your opponents kind of extend their base up to here. Even if they don't, you always have a fallback plan where you have the buff aura. But yeah, sadly, despite how cool the bonus for Kingdom of Castile is, the unit sucks. Like, hard. Like, Henry the Hoover couldn't even suck that hard. These units, on the other hand, did receive, I think, relevant nerfs. They used to be a little bit too cost-efficient. They're definitely more situational, but maybe rushing them, not ideal here. We already have crossbows coming. Did he get scouted? Yeah, he must have. I think the scout checked the TC and saw the flag. So he knows it's Angevin. Relics are not being rushed for by Anotand. Only B's going after those. I do love how... I don't know if I call it clumsy. Very kind of chalant, the Angevin spears look, right? Like, you just get OB. Like, it's the way they just kind of carry the spear around, almost like the squire bringing it to the lord. I've got your shield, and I've got your spear, my lord. Turns out that the lord is like twice the size of him. Oh, that's unfortunate timing. We're doing great to deny the imam. So I understand he did actually go fieldworks here, right? Yeah. Now, that's a little bit surprising, considering you're already in Castle Age. You could have just built a mosque. So you see some value in the heal. Slower than regular spears too? Yep. They do have more health, though. It's not just effective HP, it's raw HP. Because a veteran spear would have 110 health, they have 140. And your base damage, if I remember correctly, is higher, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, chart. I'm pretty sure vet spears is 9 base, was it? Hello, Marine Lord. Have you come to get educated in the ways of B? The funkiness. Marine Lord's like, I've got a clear plan this weekend. You know, I've elegantly thought out my strategies. I've considered every possibility. And now, I just want to have a double whiskey shot and get a little bit confused and impressed by how B and Anotand do these wacky things. Yo, what's up, Raisharan? Thank you very much for the Prime sub, mate. And welcome back to Swarm. I'm still a little bit shocked by this Emam choice. Because he could have actually just went straight into the military campus, which would have made sense for his build. I wonder, do we maybe see fortresses soon for B? There's not really a rush. He has got the stone here, but he's got gold secure. Relic secure is looking decent. It's going to be a 3-2 split in the end. Sacred Site's now being taken by Anotand. He has dropped one off in the base, just hasn't set up the mosque yet. Of course, why didn't I think of Kakinji, guys? Like, you know how spearmen are meant to kill you, but they can't reach you? I swear, at this rate, the devs are going to give up on Akinji and just make them they're basically going to make them an Imperial unit like Black Rider and then giga buff their stats. Ooh, you know what? That would be kind of interesting if maybe there was a combo play where Akinji then also had extensive fortifications like give you bonus against heavy with Akinji or something. Maybe that would be too good though. In some ways, I am a little bit surprised we don't see more of them in the hyper late game, but like, would they ever hold a candle to Janissary Sapahi? I think that's always been the issue. Wolves? Gets them up, but not before the boyos get in. We do have a switch now coming into the Templar Brother, which is ballsy against Ottomans. Yeah, it's not Janissary, but your opponent is already building crossbows. So I think his thought process is that Anatand's going to start expanding wide a little in the coming minutes, and he wants to try and exploit that. Vietnam is looking really different on Fridays? Oh, yes. Turns out when you create different formats for show matches featuring known names, they come in droves. I guess the other problem now for Anotand is the Springles would have actually been the MVP here against the Angevin Empire, but Templar Brothers have now muddied that. And reminder, Templar Brothers have more health than Standard Knights. They don't die that easily. 275 HP. Interesting, he's going into archers. Yeah, I guess he just wants to remove the crossbows because then he has all lancers. Also, archers aren't necessarily terrible at dealing with Springolds. Just an issue of reaching them. Ano's holding a lot of resources. It almost feels like he's looking for just any reason to go Imperial. Which does make sense. I think like Ottoman versus Knights Templar in Imperial is going to feel pretty much like it did historically. Yeah. Like Knights of Road and all those guys are going to end up giving up. It's going to be full get off our mainland, right? Because like the Janissary Sapahi comp's going to do very well against a lot of KT options. I don't think there's no outs whatsoever. Like, Knights Templar, if they can justify it, Kingdom of Poland, no, against Janissary, weird, right? But maybe Teutonic Order could be the way. Wait. No, KP, don't say it. Don't say it. I mean, but... KP, don't say it. But... Got a trade, bro? Okay, so Condottiero did get buffed recently. And technically, they have good armor, good damage. Janissaries are glass cannons. Knights Templar, Condottiero, Ottomans might be the matchup where Venice makes sense. Which also historically, once again, good at this. Yeah. I'm actually intrigued to see if we get to that point. I'm getting a bad feeling that B isn't considering it, though, because he's still scaling more Templar Brothers, which is leaning him more towards Kingdom of Poland. Because Kingdom of Poland gets nuts, guys. The 50% charge damage increase scales very well with Rule of Templars. Rule of Templars, remember, gives +2 damage to all nearby units. when you're charging. Or like each Templar brother gets +2 per charged unit, right? Where that gets interesting is it scales, as you'd expect, with the 50% increase from Poland. I.e., it's +3 per charging unit. And you're already plus 50% in your base. So you end up doing like 116 damage quite easily with a charge. Istanbul Observatory now on the way. So it looks like Anotand, he couldn't resist the temptation. I don't think B can kill him here. No, his army's not in position to do so. Knights, meanwhile, diving into his base. That's going to be a great distraction out of Anno. And it's only 8 Templar brothers sneaking around the back, so definitely feels like B's going to be stuck having to age up as well. Actually, might... Ooh, hello? Okay, that worked out perfectly, so he's going to delay the age up. My worry right now for B is he went 2 TC, he doesn't have any farms. He's only just started adding them. And why just cause it? Oh my god. Well, that was an underwhelming end to this game. I have been robbed of Venice, and I am not happy. Yeah, so we talked about like whether you'd feel good trying to age up against Ottomans, and it's some people going to be like, why would B do that so prematurely? What the hell? Kind of makes sense. Your food income is at 300 or 400 food. You have like no food income, and your opponent's now aging up, and that's going to ramp up military scores like crazy. Like it just, I think. I'm annoyed. I would have loved to have seen like the clash of that in Imperial Age because we rarely see it. But I do understand the GG. Because the other thing is you have to remember B, he's on 400 food income and added a second TC. So now he only has 100 food surplus per minute. Like you're not catching up. Why do I deserve push-ups for this match? That doesn't make sense. Like, bruh, you should be making them do push-ups this match. They robbed us of it. Bruh, they gave us an hour-long game on Prairie, and they give us not even 20 minutes on Highwoods? I am outraged. Wait, did they not redraft? No, they're right. Yeah, it's redraft after next. Okay, yeah, sorry. My brain is, like, farting. So we got redraft after next game. We are going receding next, by the way. Yeah, I've been busy this week. I didn't fully calm that rule to them. But I'm fine with this. So, like, they agreed it anyway. So we're going to have a redraft after game 5, which I quite like. It's, like, we always do it after game 4. It's kind of refreshing to let it go one extra game because it's a BO9. And then we're going to have House of Lancaster versus Malians on receding. I could see Lancaster working quite well on this map. Malians is a pick that B will be familiar with on this map. It was used against him by Louis MT to mix results. So receding, remember, is the map there. It's the one where you're on an island. The wood is predictable in where it moves, and you're a little bit close to each other's bases. So it creates some very interesting dynamics. But let me get the game ready between the boys. Just tune in as B trolling? No, like it's like I said, the thing is with Highwoods is a relatively unexperienced map because it's not in ranked pool, it's in unranked pool. It's one of the new maps that got added to the game. But like because people haven't got much hands-on with it, I think they had ideas in mind. That's why you saw them just kind of hunker down and go Castle Age, no aggro whatsoever. But the ideas then didn't make sense. Yeah, I think he just got caught off guard with this pivot by Anotand to just age again. One shaped like a Pac-Man ghost. That's one way of thinking about it. I think it looks like a potato head, you know? Okay, so... I know. Are we in the right positions? I'm hoping so. I never trust this game with the load in now. It gets weird. All right, let's get predictions up. Let's have a look. Nope, they are opposite sides to where the scores are, of course. I should have known. Thank you, mods. One and all, is this your head? This mini-map here? You somehow got the beard, although it looks a bit stubby. You can't seem to hold the hair all the way to the top, though. It's not fun. Not fun like receding is fun. So maybe HIMS can help you out. But you know what? Shout out to them for inspiring us to create this map. We are back for game number 5 of Anotand versus B. And Ano is building quite the pretty lead here. 3-1 against B. Looking to reset things a little. It's going to be Malians coming out for the Free to Clan member. Anotand answering with House of Lancaster. An interesting pick on this map. Especially considering that there is a merchant camp. That's right, guys. Shout out to Caillou for making this. We constructed this map for the first HIMS Cup. And if you haven't seen those games between B and Louis, go and look at them. They delivered oodles of entertainment. Some crazy mechanics, because it may not seem it looking at the map, but farm transitions are quite uncomfortably hard here. Which means you have to be very tactical and strategic about how you approach the early game and scale into the mid and late. Now, some civs should do a lot better than that. And both of them seem to have sensed it. Because Malians and House of Lancaster are civs that are designed to have safer, easier to scale food sources. But one thing that Malians sucks at is playing these openings. Yeah, so Merchant Camp just going over to Anotand for free. He's gone up to 4 spearmen, which means he'll be looking for the deer shove in. But B, great reaction. He lames them straight away. And the reason you can do this, by the way, this is another reason why I think you guys are going to enjoy receding, and I recommend trying it yourself. Shout out to Caillou for this. He put all the sheep near your TC. So you've gathered the sheep you need in the first 20, 30 seconds. That means your scout can go do other things, like laming the deer to stop the deer shove play. Another thing that's going to be very good for Lancaster in this map, that people learned from the excavation map in our midweek muster, is the Forgotten Ruins. Remember, Lancaster needs stone to generate into their manors, and these give a premium gathering rate. A normal villager would be almost half of what you get out of a Forgotten Ruins per minute. It's a great read by Anotand to make it worthwhile. Merchant Camp gets captured. It's going to be double Forgotten Ruins locked in. And that's going to set him up nice and tidily to go into the mana spam. Now, the question is whether we're going to be seeing a truly defensive build with Lancaster Castle, or if he opts for something a little bit more greedy, which would be manors without the arrow fire protection. I don't know if you'd want to go Abbey of Kings here, actually, because Malians have a direct counter to the Lords. They can go Musafadi. So your Lords would actually die very fast. And B does not have a... He has a spot over here for mining camp, right? He can put it on the edge, but I don't think he wants to. This is the thing. Like, usually the pit mine is good enough to get you where you need to go, then the Mancer on top of it. He might want to get some active gold gathering down the line, because you have to remember that he's against Lancaster. Yeoman is a possibility. Then again, most Lancastrian builds haven't looked good when they rush Yeoman. And he won't be rushing him here. It is going to be Lancaster, so he plays it safe. Okay, yeah, this makes sense, though. I think Abbey of Kings, we mentioned the difficulties of making the Lords work here. But the other thing to remember is this map, I mean, it does have a lot of straggler trees down here. But your main tree line, there is only one of them. And it crawls upwards. So what Anotand is doing, he's securing the secondary gold, which he's going to need to, because your starting one's only 1,600. He's securing the tree line. He can spam the manors around here, and then have full safe economy. Strategically, it's very smart. Honestly, I kind of forgive it more on this map than any other one to do Lancaster Castle. Because, like, when I watch Lancaster Castle on Dry Arabia, I'm like, I know this is optimal, but it's, like, annoying, and it doesn't even feel strategically it should be. But here, it completely makes sense. B just trying to eject the villager. He has got archers on the way, so Anotand will have to back off eventually. I wonder if this is just maybe like triple mana and then tech. Because he's going to have the stone gen at this pacing for triple mana in time. Oh, wow, he actually gets the scout. B. Sleeping at the wheel a little there. Yeah, because he was already low from running around in circles on the Forgotten Ruins to try and decap. Archers coming out will eventually secure this. I wonder if Anotand wants to eject now. He could just throw the spearman in to give space for the villager to leave. And oh, he already has. This one's still working, though. He's going to eject him, too. Wow. He does get the final ticket of stone, but he's now sitting at 240. A bit of a weird number. The timing is good. Villager, is he going to get back in time? Just about. B will be able to shoot him 3 more times maximum, and then he'll get in. Okay, so nicely timed. Anotand, no workers lost. And B just kind of stuck with archers. I don't think he really wants now. The good news is Lancaster's not really going to build horsemen to counter this. Can you guys guess why Lancaster might not build the worst horseman in the game? Is it possibly because it's the worst horseman? Yes, you guys guessed it. Y'all are geniuses. Yeah, especially in H2. I don't know, has anyone actually made Hobblar's work H2? I've yet to see it. I remember it was one of the first things I tried, and I couldn't figure it out. Like, it didn't seem logical ever. And only 1 villager can fit in a runes, so you basically can slot 1 for 60 stone per rune. Which means on this map you can get 180 stone gen per minute for the cost of 3 villagers, which is so good. Look at the macro. Anotand, this is castle. So he'll build 2 manas and just go castle then. Not quite what he wanted. He would have definitely preferred to have gotten the third one in here. It's definitely more efficient that way. But he's still got a really solid timing here. Knights makes a lot of sense. Your opponent's got archers and feudal sofa. They're not going to hold out well against Castle Age Knights. Even more so because if Anotand goes into King's College, it means that he can get the heavy maces tech for Knights. Which destroys sofas. Even if they get Castle Age. So what's B's thought process here now? It can't be Farimba. He hasn't started scaling any type of unit that makes sense for that yet. Is he looking for a ram rush all-in timing on the Lancaster castle? Because that feels a bit slow. What's weird is he's not rushing Fulani. There's no cow ranches yet. How do you guys predict, by the way? Let's take a little ganders. 50-50. I wonder how much that is the feeling like we're on a new map. No one's really sure what to make of it. I will probably be looking to include this in some KPMMs, by the way. How you get the stone gen just from capturing the point without a Vil? Doesn't the Vil just give the relic? No. You can see no stone being generated for either player. You have to have a villager inside. And White Tower in the way. Makes a lot of sense. You know, when you try to rush an age like this with limited defenses, you're at risk of being dove. So White Tower gives you that padding, that space. Really highlight that this is just the jackpot. It protects everything he needs. And we'll also give him a few Elsguard to poke back with. You swear Mesopotamia is a good map? Yeah, maybe at some point in the future. I'm not promising, though. Like, right now, we've got multiple maps to rotate in. Like, you have to remember, we literally just had a new expansion drop that added 10 maps. 4 to 6 of them are viable for competitive. Also, I'm pretty sure there's other tournaments that could test them out as well. Wink, wink. Oh, gotta be able to poke this away. What's up, Zuby0T? Thank you very much for the bits. Yes, the last map was an unsatisfying end, but this one, I think, this will be the nutty one. Because that is bonkers. What? He goes for Rimba still. Wait, is this Mansa Musafati? Yes. Yes, please. Okay, Mansa Musafati is kind of wild here. You wouldn't expect it as Anotand because Yeoman counter it hard. But look at what Anotand is building. He got Elsguard for free. He's rushing Knights. Mansa Musafati, with their built-in heavy damage buff and their melee armor, are the desirable counterplay to this. And more so, you pad that with Sofa, you have nothing to fear. Because remember, Anotand didn't go King's College. He has no heavy maces level to deal quickly with the Sofa. First night arrives, so V just gets confirmation that this could actually work out perfectly for him. And he is prepping the racks. And there it is, Mansa Musafati. Okay, so other fun detail about Mansa Musafati on this map. There's a lot of stealth forest. And your opponent's gradually going to be crawling out of their base one way or the other. Meaning you can easily sneak in unseen. This is cool. Yeah, B's feeling a little bit inspired because when we did have him in HIMS Cup last, it was the first week which featured this map a lot, and Louis MT used the Malians to great effect with the Mustafadi against him. Meantime, Anotand is going to try to rush relics while he has map control. And wait, he switched. Wait, he definitely queued up Mansa Mustafadi originally. I saw it. So we have a switch. He's gone Javelineers. Okay, what convinced him of that? Maybe he thought it was going to be Allsguard and Knights, but now it's only Knights. But there is an argument that like Mansa are definitely very tanky, but obviously you're getting charged for free. So I guess instead he just thinks if he scales Javelineers, he can snipe those Knights down one by one. Interesting. Well, now I'm uninspired. I was so hopeful for the Mansa Mustafadi. We never get to see them anymore. Very situational, but if you can find that situation, it's wild. Imagine if we ever went back to HRE Men-at-Arms spam. Oh my god, Mansa Mustafadi would eat. Okay, so relic situation for Anno was a bit ambitious there. He tried to snatch from his opponent's side. But then again, like, there's nothing else to play for. Remember, he never turfed these Forgotten Ruins. If you guys look at the map going, like, what the hell? Why has Anotand not got relics yet? There's only 2. The other 3, you have to use the Forgotten Ruins for. And that's the problem he's facing right now. He doesn't have good control of the map statically. He has control because it's Knights raiding, but the moment he has to stand still is where B gets an advantage. Yeah, a little bit surprised he actually went for a second monk here as well. He can justify it by going Sacred Sites and then punting into the relic. B's not bothering with it at all because, of course, he has passive gold via the pit mines anyway. It's not as big of a concern for him anyway. Like, he should have more than enough for scaling javelins and a few Sofa. And yeah, cows are pretty good. Farms have been nerfed over time. But where farms get really interesting for Malians is in the hyper late game when you go Griot Bara. I think Griot Bara is slept on for that particular attack. Custom maps elevate HIMS Cup so much. Agreed. I try to balance it though. Instead of making it, let's say, 10 new maps or whatever, you have to keep something familiar with something new because you're basically asking these players to kind of prep a little, figure out like strategies for maps. And if you introduce too many new maps, it's overwhelming, and also the games will be underwhelming. Right? We kind of just saw that with Highwoods, where an idea was fabricated and it didn't make sense, and then it was a GG with no real intensity to the game. Anotand with Hobblars. Oh. Yeah, this does make sense against Javelins, but without the unique tech, you don't really have that first strike potential that makes Hobblars truly threatening here. I do like that he's adding in Javelins. Spin, rather, to deal with the Javelins. You won't be able to reach him, but you'll be able to absorb a lot of shots. Right now, most of Anotand's economy should feel safe. He's got manners on the forward, and then the villagers are gathering behind. Javelins are really good at diving, though, so something he needs to be aware of. Maybe a little bit worried about. But now, kind of feels like he's trying to hide the fact that he has gone into Hobblars. Which makes sense. If it gets seen early, you get counted. And yeah, infinite farms, like, remember, the difference is although Cal be more accelerated, like, you're paying for it. That's the trade-off. Whereas farms are, you set them up once, and good to go. Sofas. I'm not going to go for a little bit of poke raid. It's just... It's such a frustrating area to hit, man. Like, this might be the most campy House of Lancaster spawn I've ever seen. His whole economy could just be on the screen. Oh, bar the stoneworkers, because of course he wants more manners. But he's got all the mana fire and the white tower, and he's still got plenty of wood to lean into. Yeah, there's no way you're easily getting him off of this quickly. I think instead, for B, it might make more sense to just try and play for Sacred Sites, but the problem is your opponent's scaling Cav. So good luck with that. I think my biggest worry for B is like this comp is not good when you play it like this. When you're just kind of in stalemate, it's weird. The benefit of javelins is the frustration point. I poke you and you can't really poke me back. And it might not be a big win. It'll be like a kill every 20 seconds, 30 seconds, but it escalates a lead. It gets you ahead. Keeps you ahead. Instead, you're not really killing that much. You've actually exchanged pretty evenly on destroyed value. But the difference is Anotand is blobbing in the Lancaster conventional way via buildings. B is going to try to sneak in some kills. This is what he's been waiting for, is that point where Anotand has to come out of the range of protection. This is very wallable, though. Now, B is switching more and more into Sofa, which is good. That's going to be perfect counterplay into the hobbies. We even actually have Donzos on the way, too. Okay, Anotand. I wondered if it was going to be pulled like this late in, if it was going to be worth it. We do have the nobles. So just more meat. I think that's the main goal here. You just want a lot of meat for the big fights. They can be decent pseudo raiders, but no more effective than just at this point sending in 1 or 2 knights. Yeah, reminder, if you want to get the relics out of these ruins, you have to put a villager inside. And then the villager gets ejected whenever you get decapped, which resets the timer. So if Anotand actually wants these relics, he either has to camp here for 6 minutes or do something like a keep drop. I wonder if B just starts setting up ranches now. Especially with this Sofa blob, like the risk he's running into is if they both clash once, Anotand has the ability to remax a lot quicker than what B is capable of here. Nice little worker pick on the north side. We do have the Shire Levy on the way, so it looks like a Yeoman switch just around the corner from Anotand. Even though there's not really any reason to, I think it's just about the blob. He wants to get as many troops as is possible. Yeah, he's just going for Swarm. This is the funny thing that, like, is a mind-boggler, actually. Lancaster are kind of proving to be a better Zerg than Malians, which is crazy. Malians are meant to be the kings of that. Now, in fairness, this is a very different game. You could easily argue if this was Fulani, Malian count would be at least matching Lancaster. The question is whether the quality would be good enough. So he has taken a quality approach for this Malian comp. But there is kind of what was that classic saying from Day 9? More crap beats less crap. You know, big stick beats small stick. Not everyone can be John Wick with a pencil. Sometimes you just need a giant log to club people in the face. And Anotand is swinging a big log right now. Going to be able to secure onto the ball now. Good thing he got there before it got lamed. Interesting that Anotand feels the need to come up for this ball. The berries are getting a little bit low. I think he wants that inflation just to go Imperial. Yeah, because if he Berkshire's the center, he'll finally be able to get those runes. Unlocks even more gold potential later on. Also, a Berkshire here. Basically, at this point, in the Malian base. Probably not going to turn into Earlsguard play. Earlsguard play would probably feel weird unless you have 6 castles in total because of Musafadi. And remember, down the line, B could make his Musafadi even better because if this does go Imperial from Malians, you get a second option out the Firimba. Javs count nothing. That's the... Well, they do. They counter the Yeoman he now built. But like the thing about Javs, that's the thing. Like they don't need to counter anything. Because if you play tempo, they counter everything. Because you can't be reached and you just snipe, 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 snipe. But the problem here is he hasn't played tempo. He hasn't been able to. He's just been running up to the base and been going, okay, it's Lancaster, I can't kill it. Now. Instead of going in. Anatand's going to be going up. We've got Wingard Palace on the way. Goes to the greedy option. B does find the workers on the gold. We'll go for the dive in. But Ring a Rose is a bit too strong. Yeah, he just switches over to Stone Gathering. I mean, it's actually worth it to just get a castle in the center in some formal way. This is tricky, man. I think this is a very hard map to just outright raid. It's not impossible, but I don't want to call this an overly defensive map. I think you can win with aggression. We've seen it multiple times on Receding. But you see how, similar to the idea that the farm transition is hard-earned on this map due to the Ford design, the dive is also hard-earned. Yeah, there's certain Civ picks like Malians, Lancaster, English that are just going to feel really, really great on this map. And then others like, say, China and Chuxi that I think are going to be a bit more of a question mark. Wait for Wood Overchop and drop troops. I will say I'm a bit shocked more people haven't tried to transport ship on this map. Then again, we've only seen limited games. But like in theory, transport would be good. We have seen boat play hyper late game though. The problem is like a boat drop in this game doesn't change anything. You know, Sofa could reach here. The problem is when they reach here, there's Spearman waiting and a Kajillion arrow fire. So Anno has teched up. He's waiting on the elite techs. Yeoman's already been upgraded Spearman to follow. He understands that he can't just play for his own age up. He needs damage. Yeah, he's just economically outmassed. Oak's going to come in. Choke point fights would benefit the javelins more. Gonna start burning onto the houses. Anotand at risk of being pop blocked here. Javs are gonna get poked at, but the Hovelar count, I'm not really impressed by it right now. No, and Anotand, you know, the biggest upgrades are gonna be slow here because the gold income. It's not like you can rush into things like the university technologies, which would make the world a difference. Javs are overkilling hard though. Like, split your targets, boys. This is just a meat grinder for a choke point. Even the Demi-Lance is now getting upgraded. You don't really see them in elite often. He hasn't been used in the Wingard, though. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Pash now comes in. Full commitment here, B. Scaring away the Yeoman, and no synchronized shot either. Anotand doesn't have any saturation damage. Yeah, the Donzos are a problem here, folks. There's not enough Yeoman. If he had sync shot, he might be able to just take out maybe 5 to 10. And that changes the dynamics. But instead, B is starting to work. 92 to 65 military now. Baiting those cavalry boys to come up. Still plenty of Sofa to hold the front line with. Javelins are going to steer across towards the Yeoman. And cavalry stuck on the wrong side of the engagement. His own rack's getting in the way. Anotand, military numbers are falling. But he cannot let up, though. He knows if he chooses a tech now, he's going to give a comeback mechanic to Anotand. There'll be a rubber band effect with things like Scuttage on the manors. So instead, the pressure continues. I know has snuck some villagers out of the base to gather, and that aforementioned Scuttage is now on the way. The game is far from comfortable for the Volta Esports player. Military Academy to follow up. B knows the pump has to keep coming. And Donzos, honestly, have just been the MVP. B, we're still seeing him with a grand total of only 5 farms. First cluster is now coming in. He's been doing this off of chomping on cow constantly. Villagers on the north side are going to get found. Nicely done. Anotand, these are the ones lingering out. There's still a handful on the tree line to the north side that aren't known about. That's 10 more workers, make that 11, that at least B hasn't spotted. Because if he finds those 11, Anotand will not be economically ahead. Like, he already isn't. Because the thing is, you have to remember, it's not just the cow eating. It's all the passive gold from pit mines as well. It adds up. Not as good as 9 manas, but decent. Game where he already has a 14 villager lead. Poke comes through again. Anotand, it's hard into Yeoman now. Wow, he's going full budgeted. I guess he wants to get the Unitech, so only way he can justify that is if he only uses food and wood. Burn power is strong here, though. He's starting to take on the manors. I think B. He's at the point where he can start going Imperial. What? How is this game actually not over? It's kind of crazy the way that B done this. That dive that felt like it should have been kind of chill mode for Anotand. You just saw the impact that I think, like I said at the time, Donzo's in particular had there. It's not easy to target down. Sofa's, of course, just impenetrable. Like, you know, Anotand didn't really have the capacity to get spears in quick enough to do anything. Remember, at the time, he was into mass cavalry, which didn't count as Sofa. It just shows you the difference White Tower versus King College makes. But at the same time, in fairness to Anotand, if he didn't go for White Tower, he would have been dove and killed. It's just the initial exchange as well. Like, even just a few troops at a time, these Travelers aren't losing their lives at all, but they're getting kills for what feels like for free. I mean, not even feels like, it is for free. Sync shot is at least down the way for Anotand. So we talked about the idea that all his gold needs to be accumulated for big technological advantages. This can at least potentially solve the Donzo issue, but it's all about timing and positioning. If you wait until your opponent has stacked Sofa on Donzos, your damage saturation is going to suck. So you need to find the moment where the Donzos are separated from the pack. And that's when the sync shot could be a game changer. But the game is about to get a lot harder to change. B, Fort the Huntress is on the way. Oh boy. It's happening. Reminder that he can upgrade the Javelins very quickly here. Speaking of Javelins, you never feel like you're far enough away from them. They always find a way to pick another target. Incendiaries is now queued up by Anotand, so a little bit of time bought here. Maybe the Yeoman can be his Hail Mary. He's running out of space quick. And honestly, I'm starting to wonder if this was even worth it. A Bark Shield is against Javelins, so maybe you just don't think it's that valuable, but I feel like the Bark Shield would have given a bit more breathing room here. But understandably, like, he got his tech time, he had a better economy. I don't blame Anotand for believing Wingard would make sense. Just haven't seen anything coming out of it to justify its existence yet. So started good retreat here, and it's going to be Freeborn. Okay, so he goes tanky. Makes sense as well. You don't want to be building Mansa Misfadi into Yeoman as counterplay. But Freeborn, tanky enough to deal with the spears, and a direct counter to the Yeoman. This is a scary comp now for the Malians. B in the meantime, dives around the back, does find the workers. I mean, he sync shots into imported armor. Like, you don't expect that to really do anything. Trebuchet's going to get taken out. Javs. I mean, that's perfect. Just bait the spears away and then trade Yeoman into Javs. We do also have the Donzos in hiding. Not for long, though. Well, he could maybe edge towards the Fort the Huntress to use it well for that. Spear count is low. Anno. Oh, no. This is a bit worrisome right now. The spear count is actually quite weak when you consider the counter Sofa here. Top of that, B did just get the funnel upgrade in. Donzo's now juiced up as well. Ranged armor is on the way. Silk Bowstrings is a smart move here. That is going to give him the range advantage over the Javs. Something that they cannot mirror or match. It's coming at a critical point when Anotand desperately needs it. We have got farm clusters, 23 farms in total for him now. Meanwhile, on the other side, B, he's still only at 8. Yeah, he's resisting the necessity for it. It truly is just Cal keeping him alive on the food. We do have a military academy now, but I don't think that's really Lancaster's problem here. Anotand just lacks the income, really, for what he's trying to pump. Now, this will at least make him more efficient on production. I think the reason why military academy makes sense for Anotand here, look at how little room he has on the map. So this isn't as much a, oh man, you can't afford all those units. It's more he can't afford to build more production buildings to get units. So he's trying to make the best of the limited space. So who benefits from a slowdown here? I feel like it undoubtedly has to be B. It's the Freeborn effect. The Freeborn are going to be key here. If you can get just, say, 15, 20 of them together, it's going to make the fight a nightmare for Anotand. Upsides for him at least. Obviously, Yeoman can kite very well. Downside is, you know, Freeborn actually move faster than you. The other awkward part is Anotand is now playing towards the Fort the Huntress, so you have to remember that stealth is important. Just gives your opponent first strike potential. So very important that Anotand moves up with outposts. Let's mop up on the north side. Bunch of yeomen get caught out. And we don't have any outposts, by the way. Like, no outpost, no scout. And you have been seeing units come out of stealth. It's a curious choice. That could cost him dearly. Cannon placement's now coming in from B. He's not going to give over this area. He, by the way, has not been actually excavating the relic still. He could have definitely had him by now. And his comp would benefit from the gold, actually. Your Freeborn, Sofa, Javelins, 3 of the 4 units you produce do require gold. Just imagine being a Malian player on this map and going, okay, it's late game. It's time to trade. There isn't any trade. How will I gold? Very slowly. I do find it funny that we are 31 minutes into a game and there's only 1 relic out of a potential 5 that have been taken. Oh, and that one's going to end up on the ground. Banker repairs. Yes, he's trying to force Anotand to overinvest into Trebs to deal with this now. Anno does have mass on his side. But once again, in a weird, ironic sense, we have got a reverse of roles where the Civ that should be about quality and the Civ that should be about quantity have swapped roles. Anotand's full premium trash blob, while B is just full premium. Best Spearman, Elite Freeborn, Elite Javelins. So, a lot of firepower. If you can find the right area, that was a horrible sink shot. Anotand, no. And unfortunately, because he waited like that, now you don't have it for when the clump comes through afterwards. North side Spearmen are going to get intercepted. The Javelins now can trade out up against the Yos. Anotand at risk here because the farms are just to the south side of this screen. So really has to kind of stake his claim here. Now, Yeomen have got a better attack speed than the Javs, so in theory they can trade a little bit better. But the Freeborn is the tricky part here, folks. Like, look at this. It took the full Flurry to barely kill him, and that was also only because he had the Billman effect on him. And B has exhausted himself a little, by the way. Is he overstaying his welcome? Oh, no. He might be overstaying his welcome. The Robotiquins hit the field. Hey, we complained. We were like, yo, I'd like to refund my wing guard. It's not being used. Well, Anotand's here to deliver. Organ guns now coming in. That's really important, actually, against the Freeborn. Freeborn do have really good ranged armor, 11 ranged armor. But Robotiquin damage is very high at 42. So you're only offsetting about, between a quarter and a third the damage you should be taking. No, even now going back into hobbies. Yeah, now it makes sense. The Donzos have been erased. Damn. All right, things are inspiring now. Anotand. Is there really any tech he's missing? Biology isn't there. No elite army tactics, but it's all about the Yos. Yeah, we're going to start marching forward. You can feel it. Anotand. He's making it happen now. B, I mean, he just doesn't have enough food pump. Remember, he's trying to rebuild Sofa from nothing. The Javelins are the only thing left alive, and at this point, they just take way too long to kill one unit. Not due to a lack of damage, but due to a lack of attack speed. Nano needed it most as well, because he had to be feeling like he was running out of resources soon. Just wood gathering on the north side. More farms to the south would have probably been spread too wide at that stage. For the Huntress down. B. It's a death cycle now. I don't see how he gets back in this from this position. It's crazy because every time I look up, I see 1,600 food income, but then I look at his production and ask where. It doesn't feel like a guy who has almost 2,000 food income. I don't know, man. Freeborns are such a sad unit. They should have been so impactful here. But it felt like they'd done nothing. I think the tricky part of going Imperial into Freeborn is you often feel like you're trickling them, even when they feel cost efficient and easy to spam. There's something about this unit that makes them feel weird to remax, and I don't know what it is. Because economically, they're not more expensive than the men-at-arms by much. Yeah, it turns out 205 health and 11 ranged armor doesn't matter much when you get shot this many times. And I think that's going to be the tap out from B. Like, he's just lost army value. Damn. Great hold from Anotand. Masterful Lancastrian defensive play. I wouldn't even say this was like an easy cruise mode defensive game. After that defensive fight that went poorly for him near the White Tower on the north side up here, it looked like this was B's game to win. He just couldn't find the closing condition. I wonder if maybe some siege instead, if that would have been affordable for him. But this is the tricky thing. When you go for Imba and when you're up against this spam of manas, you feel like you have to keep pressing. It's similar to the Fulani. And we talked about it. You get to the late game, drop a dock, just get one of those big boy boats out and sail the high seas. This is a victory ship doing a victory lap as Anotand is blitzkrieging his way through this now. B, who feels like the untouchable in so many of our tournaments, has yet to score a second point. Damn, son. That is crazy. Okay, so we do get a redraft now. So an opportunity to breathe and reset for him potentially. And let's have a look at that redraft now. Okay. Lancaster now being taken by B. He's like, hey, this Civ seems pretty good. In terms of remaining maps, we have got Alopecia, Baldland, Dry Arabia, and... Wait, no, we used Dry Arabia, right? Wait, let me check. No, sorry, we done Alopecia, that's right. Sorry, we have Baldland, Dry Arabia, Wolf Hill, and Mountain Clearing. And looking at the picks... Wait, why is it marked Ottomans again? Oh no, that's the drafting thing where it's weird. Oh yes, wait, because we need to do redraft offset. There we go. That should fix it. Nice. Wait, it hasn't fixed it? Rogan? Oh, so there is an option here, I remember. Why is it not working? Yeah, so like there's a new system we use on the drafting side, and there's a way to make it so that it doesn't make out like the Civ has been used. Because Altman's was used but before the redraft. It should be the redraft offset option. It doesn't seem to be working. That's very weird. Huh. What is going on? Let me message Cal quickly, because that's confusing. Whew. Trying to think like what that one would be called if it's uploadable. Ah, I see. Thank you, Cal. Oh, got it. I thought the redraft... Oh, I get what it is, the redraft offset now. It's the number of games in where you redraft. Now that makes sense. Gotcha. Thank you very much. Okay, so... Draft complete. That game might be uploadable. I mean, I feel like it's somebody with that javelin dive. It's kind of crazy. They blobbed like they've never blobbed before. Do you ever play AoE4 just do coverage? Oh, I do. I focus on my coverage for my channel. I don't really think many people would be interested in watching me play the game. Like, it just makes more sense to do my content around this. Like, is what people come to watch me for, right? I still don't know what to call that game. It's kind of interesting. I just don't know what I'd actually label it as. Like, my brain's like, was it interesting enough? The early game was pretty dry, I'd say. Do more push-ups if Anotand wins? Eh. Why would we do that? That's looking like the predictable outcome. You need to believe in B, if anything. So, mountain clearing is where we get... Oh, God, no. Oh, no. What? What? No. My long series. Is it not happening? He got English, and we've got mountain clearing. Oh, God. Yeah, so I just kind of punted it in there because it kind of looks like a balding spot on the top of the head, so it fit the theme. But I really did expect them to ban it. Like, reminder, in terms of bans, they actually prioritize bans on Hideout and Atacama. Atacama surprised me a little because I thought they both enjoyed that map. Hideout was kind of in there as like, maybe they want to try it. It's been a while. I do enjoy your commentary. Most of the pro streamers have no commentary while they play, so it's kind of boring. Yeah, I tend to have commentary even when I play. More long-term viewers can probably attest to that when we were playing on like the server. Because I remember when we had some 1v1s against Wildman, and she was like, oh, wow, you're really surprising. Like, you just talk when you're playing. I was like, yep. Why just play the game when you can play the player? All right, we've got 3 minutes. I think we run ads now, right? Oh, I can't. Damn it. All right, we'll start predictions anyway. So that'll be one thing covered. So game numero 6. 5 minutes for that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how like B deals with this. You can... I think you can just hunker rush with Burgrave. And then you play maybe Siege into English. You shouldn't really win the ball rush, though. So that's a big disadvantage. Don't we have enough civs to not redraft at this point? The problem with that idea, it just doesn't work. For a start, no. Because we do a BO9. If you do a BO9 and have bans, do the maths. You're going to run out of civs. But even on smaller sets, the conundrum, though, is like... There are more civs now, sure. You could maybe argue you don't need a redraft for a BO7 if you have like just 2 bans each. But the problem is the reason we introduced like redrafts in the early days anyway was because games could literally be decided by a draft to a polarizing extreme, I think. It made for a very unfun experience to watch and I imagine play as well. Like, you could literally be 3 games in, you're like, okay, I've literally lost. There's no rally point here because I screwed up the draft. Now, you can say that's fine, that's competitive, and that's part of it. And I agree, but, like, I don't think the game should just be decided by the draft, right? Like, if you already win the first draft, that's potentially a 4-game advantage. So you're still getting a huge advantage. It's just a case of whether you lean to the idea of positive feedback loops or negative feedback loops. So for those that don't know, in game development, like that's a very key thing, is you regularly come up with positive and negative feedback loops. So positive feedback loops is I'm winning, win more. Negative feedback loops is I'm winning, win less. Right? So negative feedbacks are usually quite important in competitive games, but you have to balance them in a way that it doesn't feel like you're punishing someone from winning. So like bad examples of negative feedback loops is like, if you play one of those racing games where you're in like a Ferrari and someone's in an old hatchback, but because they're behind you, they move faster. That's really crappy negative feedback loops. But the reason why negative feedback loops is important is if you don't have them in some form, people become de-incentivized to play very quickly into games because they've already lost. It's the same reason why, like with, like I love you in Dota with this. Dota was always great for this. If you're like very low level and someone's very high level, they're going to curb stomp you a lot, but if you catch them off guard once and you get that kill, that very hard to get kill, you will get immense amounts of XP and gold for it. So, comeback mechanic. They do redrafts in AoE 2? I don't think so. I don't think any tournaments use redraft in AoE 2. But like AoE 2 has 40 plus, so it doesn't that's not needed. I feel like means we see the same civs all the time. I mean, you can get that either way. Like the way you control the issue of seeing the same civs all the time, play the same way as well, is just change your map pools. Have diverse map pools. I think a lot of tournaments don't do that well, to be honest with you. Like if you just have too many similar maps, then yeah, you're going to see the same dominant civs. That's why I like to think we do a reasonably good job with. Oh god, but this is Disaster Town. I am so sorry. One and all, we done it. We brought mountain clearing back. And not only that, one of the worst civs in the game is actually one of the best here. Anotand on match point got the English. You had to be aware of this though, right? Like draft-wise, it wasn't even like English was a quick pick. Hey guys, have a look at the draft here. Oh, whoops, wrong scene. Look at the draft. English came very late. So there was allowable time to just block it out. Instead, B, I guess, has an answer because remember, he just lost the last game, which means this is his map pick. He believes in Order of the Dragon. Now, Diashov's going to come in. We do have the ball pull. Now, this is part of why English is so dominant on this map. There's practically no civ that wants to contest the ball pull because these guys have short bows. Big edge. The other thing is English are very good at applying pressure with a follow-up into things like Council Hall because of how short the map is between the two bases. So we'll see if Anna is able to lean into that and what B's solution is going to be. I wonder if you could just straight up Gilded Archers into Lombos. I'm not sure if that mathematically works. Probably not. Like, if it wasn't for the outpost, maybe. But you know there's going to be an outpost coming in quite quickly to give the attack speed aura. And looks like he's trying to lame the deer. Okay, actually, really well played by B. Yeah. Smart as well, because he knows he could even technically dive the TC with little risk, because your opponent, even though he has a double TC fire, has pulled most of his food workers onto the board. Like, there's no way that Anotand would have all the remaining workers on food. Like, he'd want to be having some on gold. So, just a smart read. Deer laming in response from Anotand. Looks like B actually, like, didn't get them all the way. What happened here? Oh, this is important, actually. The scout can't hang around. In fact, he's just on the edge. Well played. So what B could do is technically use a villager to shove in, but that feels really bad to do as Order the Dragon because you have less villagers, so it's more pain, more idle, like lost resources. But Scout will be able to finish off what he was doing. Okay, how are predictions looking on this one? 63% for English. Yeah, I think people are having flashbacks to this map. It got called meme clearing for a reason. At first, people thought Rus or China was going to be the Gigabuster. Then English came out, I think, like the True Kings. But English, China, HRE, Rus were like the best civs. HRE back then was a little bit of a bait, though. Because HRE was a little bit too slow by comparison to the others. Decent, just not as good. Love that from Anno. So we have seen in the past people frequently building the council hall in the center of the map. And it often could prove to be a mistake because if you ever lost that area, you lost the game. So Anno's not going to take the risk. It's a little bit of a walk distance, but it's only one screen worth. It's not like when you play on Dry Arabia and you try to council hall rush. Your archers here are going to arrive a lot quicker. Ooh. Did he garrison a little bit too slowly there? Yeah, because Anotand overstepped by the looks of it. That could have been big. Because if you snipe the scout, your opponent doesn't know what he's up against here. And that's where Order of the Dragon are most dangerous. I think Order of the Dragon thrive on the unknown. More than any other civ. If they can get the transition unseen, that's their opportunity to steamroll an important fight. Tech up's complete on either side. Lombos are now being queued up Anno. B. It's this macro. This is a Burgrave rush, right? He's got exactly 150 wood. But without any active gathering, that's going to disappear quickly, like housing-wise. Yeah, I think we've got Burgrave Rush. How fascinating. B, he's only got 9 sheep to work with. Lost the sheep game there. Anotand with 15. Well, we did theory craft that this was the likely way to go. You just try and get the men-at-arms out. He should have enough food to get him there. And remember, the Burgrave for Order of the Dragon works very differently to HRE. It produces units a bit quicker, but most importantly, where it exceeds what HRE is capable of, is it produces those very expensive units cheaper. That is ambitious for the scout. Unfortunately, a little bit too late to get around here, so good walling time there by B. Able to keep Anotand off the goal, which is crucial to this working. You can't really afford to go across into outposts. It would slow you down on what is now a very obvious build. What makes England so strong on this map? Short rush distance with longbows. You're talking about premium archers on a map where you are notably close to each other. And you're also talking about a map where the boar in the center is an insane advantage for one side over the other. And no Civ plays for that boar better than English. Same reason why English is incredible in Socotra. He can walk around the forest? I don't think he knows. Like, remember, we have God Vision, but yeah, like it's so tricky trying to get around the back here. You never really know where you can actually get in or not. And well played. B already walled the west side. Anton's like, bro, are we going to play the game? B's like, I would have loved to, but you picked English. You made me become this. Here we go. Burgrave now coming in. Now the wood chopping has to come through because he's going to need additional housing. Wait. Oh, no. B, he just realized. Oh, God, he doesn't have the wood. He actually, he only just dropped it off. It's going to be too late. He has to pull away. Oh, my God. I can't believe he found that. That's crazy. I know. Yeah, okay, that was sick. Like, I think he walked the scout here and saw up here. He was like, okay, that might be an entry point. And the thing is, because he has that type of vision, it's very difficult to gather in this area because the longbows could stand here and shoot you on the tree line. So instead, B will have to back up. He does at least have a straggler tree to work with, so some wood to get. Instead, it's going to be marketplace. He's going to trade his way through to the goodies. Meanwhile, Anotand not too far for his own tech up. White Tower could actually make a lot of sense here, just because then the men-at-arms can't cheese you out of the game. King's Palace does sound crazily greedy. Especially because you've got confirmation that it's Burgrave. Because if you go White Tower, you just drop it on the Sacred Site. Yeah, there you go. Boom. And then you can start producing Springolds. And timing on that men-at-arms is going to be a little bit too slow. Yeah, 8 seconds till it's out, but remember, he still then needs to get veterancy. It's going to be way too slow. He might be able to dive in and kill like a single worker here. I think the way you maybe try to address this as B is you don't necessarily go straight off the White Tower. Could he maybe just go on the flanks? Because now with the White Tower being in the middle of the map, the negative of this is your economy, your real economy is unguarded. Because remember, the boar is down to 750. He's not going to be here much longer for food. The deer aren't even at the White Tower, right? Bar like 2. He's just going to hold on with them in arms, so doesn't rush them out. Puts them on guard. Kills the scout off. Anno is now riding blind, but obviously with White Tower in the center, blind is a relative term. Yeah, B, I think you just maybe want confirmation of what he's up against here. Because for all he knows, it could be King's Pass. He doesn't have a scout either, so he needs to actually confirm rather than assume. And he gets the confirmation. It does hurt a lot because he never got... Wait, why doesn't he have veterancy still? I think it's the wood. Because he was slow onto the wood, normally what you want to do here is just keep spamming men-at-arms out of here and then upgrade into your veterancy in Iraqs. Now, the reason you want to do this is this will be cheaper out of here. You don't get the veterancy cheaper, so you're missing out on efficiency of production if you aren't constantly producing men-at-arms out of this. Oh, wow. Okay, he just pulls the trigger on it. says no, the timing on the racks wouldn't make sense, so the steady just bites the bullet. You are kind of already countered, though, with crossbows arriving. Knights as well. This will force B towards Spearman. Spearman that he also would need to upgrade. Other problem here, he hasn't picked up the relics yet. I mean, this is one of those situations where you're like, why wouldn't you pick up the relics? It's just free resources. The problem here for B is what else does he do with villages right now but gather wood and gold? Like, food is hard locked out, right? The deer didn't get pushed all the way in. The berries aren't touchable. So in a weird way, picking up relics just doesn't feel very efficient right now because he already has way too much gold. No, instead he's going to start setting up the farms. And we do have C2 workshops on the way. So we talked about the idea of Springles for English to win the game. Feels like B's leaning the same way. He is also going to need a trebuchet to eventually clear out the White Tower. What's going to be interesting here is once he does eventually secure his 2 relics, he has got a play around outposts with Springald emplacements. Yeah, so don't write him off yet. It looks a bit grim, I will admit to that. But a Sacred Site victory is 10 minutes away. Why would someone pick this map? I think for B, he just wanted to get it out of the way. Because, like, here's the thing. With the way the draft is playing, we talked about remaining maps. We've got Wolf Hill, which is a new map. We've got Baldland and Dry Arabia. There is no way that Anotand is going to use English for anything but this map. So I think B's just looked at this and gone, okay, dude, I could literally play all the way through this best of 9. I could beat him in all those other maps and still end up here and lose like this. So I might as well just do it now. If I beat it, boom, we're back in it. Comeback possible. If not, I have not wasted my time on those additional maps. I think that was the thought process here. So we do have the spears plus the trap. And Siege is going to begin. Mangoes as well. It makes sense. Springles is kind of worthless here. You don't have any unit you counter. And you need some sort of ranged answer. I mean, you could go Gilded Crossbows, technically. Probably just feels like he's already too far behind on that. He doesn't have the food either. He's barely able to afford the Burgrave with its food costs here. Like, this is the problem right now, is Anotand has dodged going farms on a civ that can do it much easier. Yeah, I'm starting to think we're going to see B only scoring a single point in this series, which is kind of crazy. It felt like this series really went wrong in that, was it game 3 on Highwoods? That's where things felt like it began to unravel a little. Anotand just swinging the momentum very well in this series as well. Nice trying to play anti-siege. Oh, easier said than done with trebuchets. Oh, Treb. Dive in. Nicely done. Anotand gets the kill. Actually, a really good trade there. As long as he keeps that knight alive. Yeah. Oh, what was that shot? Okay, it's still a positive trade for him because trebuchets cost 650. Double knight is 480. And wait, is he really trying? The classic, let me just walk underneath your TC, don't mind me. Reminder, the relics spawn in range of the TC. They're very difficult to do that with. I think he was just hoping to catch B with no one near the town center. It can work. I've seen people do it before. Normally, you accompany it with a dive. So, like, knights would go over the north side, and then you go in with the scholar at the same time, monk rather. And goes. I really scared Anotand away. Okay, so there might be some hope here. Gilded Archers is an interesting transition. It can be effective. Gilded Archers plus Mangoes does solve for the Springolds. And the spear count is good, by the way, to deal with the few knights that remain. We do, however, have Anotand pivoting into Horsemen. With longbows, actually. How's B's farm count looking? Because I think that's my biggest scare point. Okay, so 11 farms is not crazy. And remember, English are fantastic at a whim just switching farms. Good news for B is right now, Anotand keeps investing in Lombos plus Springles, etc. So, like, that's all of his wood just going back into units right now. Oh, God, I swear, mangoes are so depressing in small skirmishes these days. Just easy to get kited. Yeah, turn on the Springles instead. Decent wall up, needs to follow up damage. The men at arms, what the hell's going on there? Felt like a slow pull away. And it feels like B is just being pulled apart here. Spears are getting sniped so fast. There's still knights alive. The men at arms have to dive in. That's not going to go well as crossbows should dive past them. And the mangoes are free real estate. GG gets called. There's no comeback here. It is going to be a 5-1 annihilation. Anotand will be the HIMS Cup number 3 champion. Woo! Okay, guys. I think mountain clearing in one tournament is enough. Yep, we don't need to see that again. I mean, kind of a rough one. Early on, I think we had like a very tight series, but I don't know, just found his groove. Props to him for winning the 3rd out of probably 12 editions of HIMS Cup to come. What a monster. What a goddamn monster. So that'll be 5. GG's to Mr. Anachad. But yeah, it's definitely gutting from like a, you know, cast the game's perspective that we didn't get to see the other maps. But like I said, it makes sense why B done that. The tongue click thing? What tongue click thing? Tongue click. Rogan? Huh? You mean like speaks English? Like that would be doing tongue clicking way, you know, when people like sometimes feel like, what do you mean like? There's no way. Oh, that thing? I don't think I do it that much. Well, I've thought about it. First time I've heard it mentioned. Is kind of your thing. Really? That's my thing? At least 5x per stream. Yeah, but Crackety, you moan about Nesta Bees at least like 10 times per stream. So like I got rookie numbers. I need to up it. Yeah, I never really noticed it. Deflection? No. I'm just like, dude, no, it's not deflection. I'm just that guy who's like, oh, I'm going to die? Well, let me just grab your ankle and drag your ass down with me. I'm just that guy. It's smart, you know? So, I'm wondering if we actually do anything else, or we have a bit of a more chill day. Because I do still need to eat. Please, 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 low tier games. I'm not sure if we'll do it today. Because I need to eat. I need to catch up on some things. I want to spend a little bit of time, like, with Freya. Because, like, usually on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, I don't finish before it's her bedtime. And she goes to bed in half an hour. I haven't really been able to spend much time with her. Like, dude, even on, like, Thursday's my birthday, right? I didn't really get to spend time with her. FFA on much, nothing. I think maybe we'll look to do, like, a community game next Friday. Just because, like, I'm going to be working on Sunday, and I'm going to have to be paying attention on Saturday for Elite Classic, right? So I think, like, next week makes most sense when it's maybe a little bit more, like, quiet or calm. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Plus, like, in fairness to me, I didn't get any sleep last night. I got, like, no sleep. I was stuck waking up until, like, 2 p.m. waiting on, like, certain things from create. Actually, like was it 3 p.m.? Yeah, 3 a.m. rather. 3 a.m. Yeah, I was up until 3 a.m. Sorting some things. So I'm very sleep deprived today. And Ezra wouldn't let me sleep. Who would you recommend for coaching? Me. I mean, like, Voldemar does a good job. I think genuinely compared to, like, most people in the scene, Voldemar has a good, like, I've talked to him a lot. He has a good understanding of, like, the key importance of fundamentals. Whereas, like, there's a lot of people at a high level that instead of, like, helping you understand, like, core principles and improvement, they probably just focus on, you know, explaining a build order or a meta or whatever. And that's not flame to them. That's more praise to Voldemar. Do I really do coaching? Nah, I'm just joking with you. I don't know if really people would care to get coached from me. Because, like, some people like Shell, like, you're not high ranked, but, like, you don't really need to be high ranked to coach. It's coaching skills are very different to what makes a pro player. It's more about understanding macroeconomics, core concepts, mental coachings, and other things as well. But yeah. All right, I think what I'm going to do, I'm definitely getting very hungry, and I want to go see my daughter. Guys, it has been a little bit of a shorter stream, admittedly, but we'll make up for it. We will be on EGC on the Sunday, and we also will be back for KPMM Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Remember, we've still got 6 more editions of that. Damn, we rolling in it. So make sure you're tuning in every single weekday. The only day we take off is Wednesday. This is your place to be on the weekdays if you love watching high-quality, entertaining Age of Empires 4 action. But YouTube, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on Monday.